From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, the best Paper Mario is finally on Switch, and we got some new Dragon Quest news.
Is a dragon a type of animal? Well, turns out there's more.
I joined the Tiers 300 Club.
Good for you. Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 424. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about great re-releases and remasters and other things such as that. And we are your hosts. I'm Trey. Do I have to play Dragon Quest 1 and 2 again, Johnson?
I'm Jeremy. Decks on decks on decks. Mikowski.
I'm John Zelda Knitter.
So what is the 300 Club in Gears? Is that where you like fool around with a Korok like on one of your devices that's flying
like
or something?
That is when you cross the 300-hour mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you... Is that why you made your profile private so you could wait to share it here?
Did I?
You made your profile private again, so I can't look at it. Just because you were holding that surprise to tell us.
I usually do that if my nephew is... My nephew likes to send me random requests to play games that I don't have. So sometimes I'll just go on private because I don't want him to be like, oh, Uncle John's ignoring me or whatever. But it's like, no, I don't have. He doesn't quite understand how the requests work, and so I just picture like
if you don't set your away message by default, it says this person does not want to be your friend. If you like,
well,
to do a private message.
I mean, the thing about the private though, it doesn't actually work the way you think it does because it still shows that you're online when you're online.
Yeah.
All it does is hide what games that you've played. It's basically what people that we know who work in the industry do because they're playing games that people shouldn't know about. So like, the only two other people that do that is like Janet and Pear, who are my friends because they play games that maybe people shouldn't know that they're playing them or whatever. But it'll still show them playing it if they're playing it live. You know, if I'm on when they're on, it'll still say that you're on. It just won't show.
I just don't want people to know that I'm playing my hentai scuba diving game, you know?
It'll still tell you that, though.
Your secret shame.
I mean, you'll still know that. You just won't be able to look at the hours and stuff. That's the only difference. Like, it doesn't hide you from the internet or anything like that.
So I didn't know that. I thought it wouldn't pop up and say, "Oh, I'm online." Yeah, because I just.
Oh no, it still does.
It'll send me requests for Castle Crashers and a bunch of games that I don't have, and they'll send like 12 in the same day, and I don't want to be like, "Oh, Uncle John's ignoring me." It's like, well, I just don't have that game, and yeah, all this stuff. So anyway, I'll have to figure out another way.
Just say you didn't see it or something. My nephew like sent me some game requests on Wii U even. You know, I think I got some requests at like early time. Well, I guess he was in Florida and he sent me a text at like 6 a.m. or something like that asking me to play Splatoon 3 or not. I guess it was Splatoon 1 because it was Wii U. And I just, you know, I didn't notice it until later, you know, or whatever. So, because I think there was one time that I had a bunch of people over from the bar at like 6 or 7 in the morning. We played Smash Brothers on Wii U, at the apartment. And I think he sent me a message during that, but I was just like, you know, I was drunk. I didn't see it, you know, but I mean, I didn't, you know, he thought it was funny.
Or if you saw it, you forgot it really fast.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, it wasn't, it was too early or too late or whatever, you know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a way to specifically hide yourself from the internet because I can still see that you're on. It just won't show what you played when you're not on. It's just a weird way to do it. It just hides like your previous stuff, I guess. But it still shows that you're on there. But yeah, anyway, let's start off the show as we normally do and talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing. I I've only been playing like a couple games, which is great because I think I took up over an hour for like the past 2 shows. So there you go. You can have less of me in this episode. No, I guess the only thing I've been playing aside from the big release was Suika's online mode. I kind of fucked around with that a little bit last week because it came out on the same day as Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Have you done any online stuff yet, Jeremy, on there?
I have not.
Because it's there now. You can do. I guess there's different modes. So
do you have to pay as like an extra pay thing like it was to get 2-player?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was included in the 2-player, I think, because it automatically downloaded. I didn't have to buy it or anything like that.
Nice.
I think it's part of the multiplayer update. It just automatically just gets added on there. But I played somebody online, and it was kind of like how you described it, how you did it like locally, where you kind of just are both playing, but your games don't affect each other at all. Like I played that. There's one that's just like a high score mode that does that. Yeah. And I guess there's an attack mode too, where you can send garbage blocks from one to another. I didn't try that one, but you can create a room, and that sort of thing, and have like a friend room, or there's what you would normally get from an online game is in there. So
I need to try it.
Yeah, it's attacked. It's called attack, timed, and regular mode. I just did regular mode, and that was just when you just went up against each other. But it was really, I found somebody really like in a couple seconds, so it was really easy. And I think I only lost. I lost, but like not by that much. So it was a pretty even match. So that was cool. But I was like, it was on Thursday. I was editing, so I really can't like play online games and edit at the same time because I need I need to be able to just stop the game and nothing will happen. So I'll basically stop and they'll beat me. Is what happens for that sort of thing. But what was it? I did get a couple of other games actually. I didn't really get to try them that much, but I did get Bread and Fred is out now. The one that kind of looked like the Ice Climbers game that I was interested in, and it was on sale, and I had some extra eShop money on my Switch, so I got it. It was like $13, something like that. And I tried playing single player, and in single player it reduces your second player, or it turns your second player into a stone that's attached to a rope, and I could not figure out how to play it. Like I couldn't get to I went to the right, and there's these platforms that I can't reach, and I couldn't figure it out. So I just kind of gave up. So that's hopefully it doesn't just like suck on single player, and you can only do it 2-player, because I thought it looked really cool from what I saw in the Japanese Direct for the Indie World one? Yeah. So I was really excited about that because I actually heard they mentioned it on IGN, and I was like, oh, I wanted that game, and it was on sale, so I was like, oh fuck, I'll get it. But then I couldn't figure out what to do with it. So I hope it's not like only fun with 2 people, because I don't. Yeah, I guess I should have looked into that. I was just too excited about playing it. But what else I did get, just from recommendations of one of our listeners, said it was cool, and we had talked about it before. The Cat Quest games are really cheap. They're like $2. So I got like Cat Quest 1 and 2 for like $6, and I had gold points, so I didn't really pay anything for it. But they're also on
friend of the show, Hutch.
Hutch recommended it to us. And I was going to say, and also on Jeremy's end, they're also available now on the PlayStation Plus Extra level, or whatever level you have. Yep. So you can get them for free.
Yeah, that's what Hutch was letting me know. I'm like, oh, now I can just play those games now too.
Yeah, I saw it. They
also just added Dredge.
Yeah, Dredge is on there too. But you already have Dredge, but you can go through it again on PlayStation Dredge if you want.
And they're also going to add something we suggested when we had our original episode about it.
I guess we could talk about that too. I was going to save that for the news. And I've already seen people posting about it. It's not there yet. That's what I keep people like, it's out now. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's in June.
It's coming out on Tuesday, next Tuesday, on the 4th. But AEW Fight Forever is coming to PlayStation Plus. I know I said it before on this very podcast about how it should be on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass or whatever, to get more people playing it. So I'm definitely going to download it for PS4 just to see if I can play anybody online, or maybe Stadium Stampede will be fun for like a week. Like maybe people will be on there and we can play that.
Now they just need to pair that with actually making it cross-platform, and that'll really get it going.
Obviously, yeah. They promised that from the beginning, but it didn't happen because it's very expensive to do and blah blah blah.
I don't know how the licensing works with how the companies get paid when stuff gets put on PS Plus, but hopefully they got a big chunk of cash so they could do something with it.
Yeah, they pay him for it, right? Like that's what it sounded like.
Something
The way it goes with Xbox Game Pass and all that. I think they just pay you. Yeah, they give you a whatever. They pay you an amount of money to get yourself on there. That sort of thing. I'm sure it's kind of like similar to however Netflix works or something, right? Like,
sure,
they give you money for your crappy movie or whatever that you want to put in there. But it's AW5 Forever on PlayStation Plus. I'm definitely gonna start up my PS4 again for the first time in months, just so I can see if I can get some online competition. I thought about like recommending that we all play it like on PS4, just on our stream and all that, but all of us have it except for everybody has it except for Joe, and I'm talking about our regular wrestling stream that we do on Monday. So because we would. I didn't
know if Joe had a PlayStation or not.
Yeah, he only has. Because we were talking about trying to do like 2K23 because I have that game, but apparently that doesn't have crossplay either. I thought it did, but because we were going to try to, because he's going to get it on Steam, but yeah, he doesn't have a PS4. Because I was like, we could try. I was like, because it'd be fun if we all hopped on there just to see if the online is as bad on PS4 as it is on Switch. Because online, we had a hard time playing it. Like we had to kind of give up and play Smash Brothers this week because because Fight Forever was just being so awful. Which sucks because we have, there's only a couple times where it's been that bad, but whatever. I know a lot of Fight Forever stuff. But speaking of AEW, I got this new shirt here.
What's that say?
It says her on it, and it has a picture of Nyla Rose on it. Because Nyla Rose actually got into stupid trouble. They had a show in Oklahoma, and the state tried to like sue AEW over having a transgender wrestler go up against a female wrestler because she had a match. And this is basically a shirt, because she had a match, because he had a wrestling match. So they're like, oh, well, no, we can't have like like a non-trans
like
female against a trans female. And it was some sort of old bullshit, old Oklahoma law or something like that. And it's like, this is like, it's not even a competition. This is fucking wrestling. Like, it's like a show, whatever.
I mean, that gives away the game right there, to be honest. Because, I mean, have they ever seen wrestling at all? I mean, they got women wrestling men, and like that never mattered to them. They just don't want the transgender wrestler to be.
And it's not even if it was like a regular sport or whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. Like if it's a trans woman, then she's a she, and that's that. Like just be done with it. Mm-hmm. But no, anyway, this was a special shirt that Nyla made that all the proceeds go to the trans, like the pro trans groups in Oklahoma and all that. And I thought it was cool, so I bought it.
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
And I don't have I always wanted to I already have a shirt with Nyla on it, but I don't have like a full one that's just Nyla, and I like this one. The other ones didn't look that cool, but I really like her pose there. She looks cool. So, and it's like the trans colors and all that for her. But I just got it yesterday. Then I also bought a Kenny Omega, because they do these like AEW video game crossover shirts, and there weren't any that I necessarily like. They did a bunch of Street Fighter ones, but a lot of it was for characters that I didn't really care about or wrestlers that I didn't really care about. But they did a Street Fighter X Tekken thing, which is Kenny Omega and King. And King was always my favorite character in Tekken, so I bought that also. So, and Kenny Omega's great. So it's just like it shows like King from Tekken fighting Kenny Omega, and it says like AW X Tekken or whatever. So I like those shirts, but I never really saw any of I never saw one that was like Ryu and whoever. That I think those came out first, and they would do later ones. But anyway, yeah, I got a couple AW shirts that I ordered a while ago, but I had to go pick them up because I didn't have them delivered. But yeah, AW5 Forever on PlayStation 4. If you have one, get it. If you don't have the game by now, I heard it was selling for like $10 on Walmart or at Walmart.
So I mean, I'm not that familiar with what games are on PlayStation Plus, but I wonder if there's a greater proliferation of games that happen to sell DLC, because you get the game for free, right? And you can try out the game. Cool. I actually like this game. Now maybe I want to, actually buy in a little bit more and, buy new wrestlers and new outfits, whatever, all that stuff. So I think I would almost bet that's probably a great incentive for those types of games that do offer a lot of DLC.
Sure.
Played into their reasoning for getting that doing that. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably what they're hoping for. What they're hoping for is that you'll get AEW Fight Forever for free, and then you can buy the four seasons for however much. They really should put those all on sale and sell them all for like $20 or something like that. I think if they want more money, because they're kind of a little weirdly priced. I mean, the past couple seasons were better, but season 2 was just ridiculous. It was like $25 for like 2 characters. But anybody who hasn't played it, you can play it on PlayStation 4. And it'll be fun to play, because what was it? Shake was telling me that they did like this free weekend thing for Xbox, I guess. And he said he played a bunch of people online on there, and it actually had like a regular competitive thing going on. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Because I never found anybody to play on the Switch one. I had to basically, got a part of that Discord and all that, and met all those extra people who wanted to play it. But I had to like go out of my way to find people to play AEW Fight Forever with and all that. So maybe there'll be some living online on there. And it would, like I said, it would be great to play Stadium Stampede with people, because it's been like, when was the last time I played with a real person aside from like the people that I normally stream with every week? I think the last time I got somebody at random was like in December when I was making my Game of the Year video. I happened to run into one person on there, so which was good because I got some good footage of it. But I mean, we haven't seen anybody in there at all since then, and now it's May or almost June. So but yeah, that's enough about that. Let's talk about Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. It's out now on Switch. I'm on the third chapter, so I have two of the Crystal Stars. There was something that I noticed about Paper Mario that I had not noticed, because I haven't played Paper Mario Thousand Year Door for years. My GameCube disc is broken, so it doesn't work. So I was unable to play the game until now. And I double checked, it's selling for, it's probably gone down now that it's been re-released or remastered or whatever. Most of the time it does, but we were looking at it on the stream on Monday, and it's going for around like $70, like in box on eBay now, like the GameCube one
seems
is.
Down.
I think it was
like
higher normally.
120 range. Yeah.
So it normally goes down whenever they re-release it, but that's kind of what it's at. But yeah, this one I got it for $50 because I got the the Nintendo vouchers and all that. So anyway, it's nice to play it again. It's cool. But what I noticed that I never noticed before, there's this like traveling salesman or salesperson or whatever that you see. He's a guy who's got like this. He's kind of got like that little like Shriner type hat, He's got a big giant mustache, and he's wearing this like big striped. I don't know what you'd call it. It's like all one. It's like a giant shirt. It's like kind of like what you would see in hotter countries, like kind of wear those like big like
a poncho,
roby things or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. They have them in Abu Dhabi. But whatever. Anyway, it's like a big giant shirt, or like a muumuu, I guess, that he's wearing that's striped. And I was like, this guy looks really familiar. And I was like, oh, wait a second. That's Torniko Taloon from Dragon Quest. I'm like, that's got to be him, because, Dragon Quest has a huge influence over things in Japan. Yeah. And I put pictures of him in the outline of both of them standing next to each other. And it's pretty obvious that I think it's a Torniko Taloon. They got the backpack with the rolly stuff in there. I mean, the stripes are different colored, but maybe they didn't want to make it exactly, but I don't know. I think he's a reference to Torniko. Torniko is like the traveling salesman from Dragon Quest IV, which was on Famicom originally. So, I mean, it's kind of famous. Okay. Like, it's been around for a while. There's a whole chapter
the one that
on
you
him.
Actually is like a playable character.
Yeah, he's like one of the first characters that you play at the beginning of Dragon Quest IV. And what's so unique about that part is there's this whole part where you just go to dungeons and get weapons and sell them to people, and you run like a weapon shop, and you go out and get stuff, and you can actually get to play like a merchant. And you've seen a lot of games later that were inspired by that, like that. What is that? The Omase or whatever it was called on 3DS. There was a game like that too, where you like sharpen the swords and you can sell them to people. I had that game. But yeah, Torniko Taloon's kind of famous. There's even a Dragon Quest prequel game that only came out in Japan that has like young Torniko in it before he like has the beard and has the mustache and all that. So, but yeah, I think it's a direct reference to him. If anybody thinks differently, you can let us know. But I think they look very alike, just different colors, but it's kind of got that still big bushy mustache. Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door is out now. I made a list of games of my favorite ones, I mean, it's probably pretty predictable because there's only a couple ones that I actually like of the Paper Mario games. I'd say Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is still my favorite as of right now. I put Paper Mario 64 at 2. I put Super Paper Mario at 3. I'll put Paper Jam, even though I don't think it's really a Paper Mario game, at 4. That's the 3DS game, which is more of a Mario and Luigi game than a Paper Mario game. And then, of course, you can kind of put Color Splash, Sticker Star, and Origami King. They can always all be at the bottom for me. I really don't care which. I'd probably put Sticker Star at the very, very bottom. But that was...
Actually, I've actually never played it, so it's kind of unfair.
You have like 2 versions of it. You haven't played it.
I own 2 copies of it, correct.
I don't realize there were so many Paper Mario games.
There's 7 of them, technically, if you include Paper Jam. It's probably because there's only like 2 good ones. I like Super Paper Mario, but it's so different from the other 2, but it's not as bad as the ones that came out after it. I still kind of like Paper Mario a lot, or Super Paper Mario. It's weird. You can play as all 4 of the characters. That's like the only game that you could do that in the series. Like, you could play as Luigi, Peach, and Bowser, and Mario. And it has like a whole lot of darkness to it. Like you like die and get sent to hell at one point, and it's not even. I mean, you would actually like it, John, because it doesn't have any battling in it at all. There's like no turn-based battle. It's all just like you would a regular Mario game. You just jump on characters like on top of their heads.
I actually owned it briefly at one point when my mom got it for me for Christmas by accident instead of Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
so I exchanged it for Galaxy.
Well, you probably enjoy Galaxy a lot more, but I mean But they gotta, that was the beginning of them like kind of starting to upset the whole turn-based, because you had Super Paper Mario didn't have any turn-based battles, and then Sticker Star had turn-based battles, but they took away the experience points, which I thought was the ultimate sin for those games because it made the battles pointless. Especially for Sticker Star, because the point is to collect stickers to fight people with. But why would you want to fight anybody and lose your stickers? There's no point, because you don't get experience points for it. So you just avoid every fucking match. And then there's giant stickers that you get that are pretty much like win buttons, where it's like, get a giant fan and blow this guy away, and then now he's dead. And it was stupid. And Color Splash, I think, Jeremy, you finished that one, right? I kind of gave up.
I did.
A few hours in. It just wasn't. It was better than Sticker Star, but it wasn't there for me. And I know you finished Origami King too. You took a lot of spears for that. But
that battle system was awful in Origami King.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people.
I think for some people,
a lot of people don't like the turning thing. I just couldn't. When I saw that, I was like, I'm just not going to get burned again by another Paper Mario game. I just kind of passed on that one.
I think some people really liked it, like people that are smarter than me, maybe. I don't know, or people who think more strategically is
like,
a better way
like
to put
more
it.
of the puzzliness of it or whatever, or see it more as a puzzle and not like an annoyance, I guess.
It's more like a strategy puzzle.
Yeah, because some people do like it, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, But I mean, what I wanted is what we have now. Is finally what a lot of us wanted was Paper Mario with the 1,000-Year Door. The way it was, fucking turn-based battles, experience points, timed attacks, like all that fun stuff. Lots of really cool characters. And apparently they sent out like a new survey asking people about if they want, I guess they talked about specific unique characters, because in the later ones they kind of made the Toads all the same. There's a whole thing about that.
Yeah.
I want them to send out a fucking survey about the battles. That was my problem, was that you nerf the battles, and we've talked about this a million times. RPGs most of the time is the battle system, and when you make the battles seem unimportant or like they don't do anything, and that's like a high percentage of the game, like why would you do that? Like it's like it kind of makes the game annoying, because it's like the battles should be fun, there should be a reason for doing them, and if they're kind of throwaway, then what's the fucking point? Because they're like 80% of the game. I don't know, but I love seeing Paper Mario back to where it was, and I've been enjoying this game so much. I think I put probably 10 or 12 hours into it now. It actually tells you when you start it up. But I think that's probably about where I'm at. But it makes me all excited. I was like, oh, I should try to play some other Paper Mario games, and I'm like, oh wait, the sequels I didn't like, so I don't want to go back and play them again. Right. But I did want to go back and I never played through all of Paper Mario 64 when it was re-released on Switch. I got through maybe the first 3 stars, maybe 4, but but I could go back and finish that. And I never fully finished Paper Jam either. So, if I'm still excited about this one, I might go to those. And playing an RPG that's still kind of it's a little more complicated than this RPG, the Super Nintendo one, but it's still kind of a beginner RPG. Makes me want to play like more complicated stuff, like go back to Octopath Traveler 2, or play the Holy Baten Kaitos collection that I've never opened. Maybe open that game because I'm in the mood for GameCube RPGs and all that, and I got those two games also that I haven't touched.
I would say, I don't know, I think in a lot of ways it's less complicated than the Super Nintendo one because you're not managing individual stats of characters as much.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because you only have like you get the shine sprites where you can level them up like once, and that's about it. But they do have their own like hit, their own hit bar, whatever, their HP. But yeah, I guess you do level everybody up, and that one is a little bit more complicated because you can buy because you got to buy armor for everybody, and you don't really do that here. You just kind of get upgraded armor as you go. You unlock stuff like you get
badges are like everything.
Well, and also like you'll like find a treasure chest that has like the special boots that let you do the butt stomp, or you'll get like an upgraded hammer that will like destroy the harder blocks or whatever, like the silver blocks and that sort of thing. So it's and they did kind of continue that on through the later ones, where I think what was it? I know Color Splash did like where you beat like a level or whatever, you get like a thing that upgrades your HP or something like that, instead of just like gradually doing it like you normally would in an RPG. You just get at the end of the level, you just get a thing that automatically upgrades you. And I think you were saying in Origami King, you get money that you can buy stats with and stuff like that. So it kind of does it, but just bring back fucking experience points already. That's what we really want. But I forget, it, and I think what all the Paper Mario games have kept is their writing. Like the writing's still really, really good, even in the later ones where I don't really like the battle system. And just playing through this game, and I said it when the stupid Mario movie came out, I was like, they should have went and looked at like the Mario RPG games, because these games are written really, really well. There's this whole like running joke in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door where you meet all these characters that always say Mario's name wrong. Like you meet the elder in Petalburg, whatever it's called, the one with the Koopas, and he calls you Murphy all the time, and that's funny. or you meet like this other guy at the tree who calls you Marty or Martio. It's like that's funny too. And I was thinking about that part in the Mario movie, where it's like all of a sudden the Toads know who Mario is, and it doesn't explain it. Like
right,
Peach is like Mario has been kidnapped, and everybody's like, oh my god, and they're like, you don't know who he is. Like you would not, or nobody would react like that. Like and it just kind of made me feel like maybe they could have written it better and had the Toad be like, Murphy's gone, or like have something funny like that where they just can't remember Mario's name, and then maybe at the end of the movie they finally say his name, because he shows up for like he shows up for like an hour maybe, and all of a sudden everybody's his best friend. It's kind of like that would have been a better way to do it, where like you could just say like, maybe they're like, oh, that Murphy guy or that Marty guy or whatever, and just kind of like keep calling him different names through the whole movie, and then by the end they finally say like Mario. That would have been, or like the Mario, or Mario would be funny too. They could do the joke on the different pronunciation and all that. That would have been a much better way to do it than what they did.
This is a bit of a tangent, but because you mentioned Mario movie, did we ever mention on the show about Toad passing away from the Mario movie?
Wait, what?
Maybe that was an episode I missed.
Wait, Michael Keegan? He's still alive.
No, the original Mario movie.
Oh,
yeah. Who was the musician?
Mojo Nixon.
His name. Yeah. I think we did mention it briefly. Yeah.
Okay. It may have been when I was out, but I just one of my coworkers was talking about how, I mean, not that it would have been sad no matter what. It would have been sad no matter what. There we go. That he passed away, but he was like touring at the time, and he was like doing like a cruise tour.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for the downer, but if we hadn't, I thought we should.
Oh yeah. I don't.
We already mentioned the Mario. We already mentioned the Mario CG movie. That was a downer. We were already down.
I thought you. Yeah. But anyway, play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. It's written so much better than the Mario movie. It's funny. The characters are fun. I was editing last night, and I was just playing the trouble missions while I was doing that, because that's kind of mindless and I don't have to spend that much time in it. But they're funny. Like I got to the trouble mission where you find the rat and you have to like hit him in the head with a hammer a bunch of times to get him to get his memory back. And if you hit it too many times, he forgets it. Like that one's kind of funny too. like those, or you got to track down the guy who has the credit card fraud. You have to find the guy who stole his credit card. And there's like all these like really silly side stories that you can do, or there's like the hungry Bob-um that you have to feed stuff to, and or you have to buy like items in another town to bring to the shop in Rogueport because they don't have like the courage shell or whatever. There's all these really cool like side missions that you can do, and I kind of just like sat down and just did like one after another until I completed all the ones that were available then, and it was a fun editing / video game thing.
Have you played it on the big giant TV yet?
Yeah, I played it on the upstairs TV. I played it on 2 TVs.
Does it look pretty nice?
I played it on the double TVs. I've played it handheld a lot. It looks very nice on the OLED, obviously, because all the colors really pop. And they kind of like, they have this like, I'm sure you've seen like, and I think maybe that's how Origami King looked too, but the paper looks like really crisp and has like these really good edges now. And it kind of makes it, I guess it makes it look like not just like a flat paper anymore. It kind of looks like there's like different papers stuck together. So there's like kind of like more detail like on the arms and joints and stuff, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, I think it looks great. And I got the badge. There's a badge you can get that's free. It doesn't cost any badge points, but you can change it to the GameCube music whenever you want. So I've been using that. You can kind of go back and forth. There's another badge you can get that's free. That's called like a First Strike, where you can kill enemies that are super weak, like with one hit, which is great because that kind of reminds me of
that's a great one.
The stuff from Earthbound, where the guys would run away from you and you could just run into them and they just automatically die. Like I think they should have games like that, because if you get in like these like battles can kind of take a bit, and when you get all the way through it and you only get like 1 star point, it's really annoying. Or sometimes you get none if you're playing like ones that are too weak. But this one you can just hit them with the hammer, they're dead, and they'll give you like life or coins or whatever, pretty much. I don't think they give you an experience, but at least you can just knock them out like that. But it's just nice to go back to the old school. Back when Paper Mario was cool. When Paper Mario Thousand Year Door was still, or when Paper Mario games in himself were great.
I mean, I recall this being one of the best looking games on GameCube. It was
just sharp and clean. Like
the amount of like objects they could fit on the screen at once.
Yeah.
Was pretty cool. It was like Mario 128, but with Paper Marios.
Oh yeah, they do a lot of that where they populate it with all the little sprites and stuff, and it looks really good. And yeah, and they do it a couple of times, but with different characters. Like it happens like right off the bat with Rogueport, and there's also like the stuff in the tree where you have to gather all of those little characters, and you have to have them go up against the mosquitoes or whatever, and there's a whole bunch of people on the screen for that too, and yeah, it's cool. I
remember
it's a good game.
When this came out. I remember thinking this looks like the fulfillment of their ambition to make a paper cutout style game. Like on the N64, yeah, it was like 75% of the way there, but you had the N64 fuzzy graphics, and it did well enough, but it wasn't quite there. But this just on the GameCube made it look like paper cutouts, and there they are on the screen, like a little cute diorama. Like it couldn't get any better.
And this one they really like leaned into it more. Like I don't think they had the paper airplane stuff right in the first one, in the 64 one.
They did.
They had the paper airplane.
No, they did. No. I'm sorry. I thought you meant if they added it. No, never mind.
No, I was talking about the 64 one. Like, well, this one as a sequel. Like, yeah, they had where Mario.
The 64 didn't have any of the like modifications to Mario that like were like action.
Where like origamis you or whatever into different things, because you can turn into a boat at one point, obviously. Isn't it all like in Link to the Past where like the little goblin says he's cursing you, but he actually makes you better. I totally thought of that because you'll find these treasure chests where they'll be like, oh, let me out of here, I'll help you, and then when you let them out, like the whole screen like basically turns into their face. It's like a whole purple thing, and then a little like eyes and mouth and all that, and it'll be like, oh yeah, now I'm going to curse you by making it so you can roll up into a, you can roll yourself into a whatever, into like a cylinder, or you can, or now you can turn into an airplane, haha, or now you can make yourself flat so you can go through like, little creases and stuff like that. And yeah, they always like, oh, we're cursing you, but they're actually giving you new abilities because it's making you more paper or whatever. But yeah, it's funny. It's fun. It's funny. the side Bowser stuff is fun. I forgot about the whole like Peach computer love relationship that's happening in the background. I completely forgot about that whole side story. There's like this there's this like supercomputer that's in love with Peach that you have to like talk to in between missions. You even like have Peach dance with a computer created model of her, like she dances with herself, like with this computer that loves her but doesn't understand love, but she has to teach the computer how to love. It's really weird. Yeah, sort of, but with a computer. Yeah, it's got this whole like HAL from the 2000 Space Odyssey in there. But yeah, it's got this weird computer love thing, or like that fucking movie with Haley Joel Osment or whatever that we saw.
Yeah,
the one that he's like, I can do everything, but not love. That's like that's the computer's catchphrase. But yeah, it's a great game. I'm glad it's out now for Switch. I'm gonna play it. I want to play it all the way through. That's all I've really been playing. It's pretty much kind of taken all my time away, but it's what I wanted to play. So,
would you say? I guess it's been a while since you've played it, but I do have it on the GameCube, and I am able to play it. I have the ability to play it.
You're saying, is there enough differences?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they do have their own speed sail of sorts, which I've kind of experienced a little bit, but they've made shortcuts because the game does have a whole lot of backtracking in it, and I've already kind of felt that, where you got to go from one place to another, especially when you're doing like the trouble missions and that sort of thing. And there's like I guess Origami King had this too, but it's like there's like a room that has a whole bunch of pipes that all go to different worlds, whereas in the original one didn't have that, like where you can fast travel to different places. And there's other little shortcuts that show up in various towns also, like as you go through. So they've kind of like tried to speed sail it a little bit to make it like where you don't have to like run from one area to another, which I think you had to do in the original one. So that's kind of what they've done to change it.
I recall there being like fast travel pipes you would find in each like zone.
I don't think as much though. Like apparently they did a whole like area in the underground that just fast travels you to different places, which wasn't there originally.
Okay.
So they kind of speed sailed it in that way, to try to make it a little bit more. But it's like, yeah, it's in HD. It looks really good. It's like, how much do you want to play that game again? But I guess also a big thing in the news, which we didn't mention last week, but speaking of trans people, Vivian, one of your side characters, is trans female as well. And this was actually in the original Japanese script. It was just translated wrong or differently, or whatever, for the American side. So it's always been there, but now
I recall what the
done
translation
better.
Said, but yeah. I have seen a screen capture of what like the new version is.
Yeah. But it's I'm sure people are like, oh my God, Nintendo's woke or whatever, But it was always there. It's just now it was translated better, so we can
Nintendo woke since 2001
because it was like because I guess before they just I don't know they thought it was too weird for America or something like that at the time, so they changed it. But now we get the actual translation.
So right on cue, Fox News published an article. Headline: Nintendo Paper Mario 2024 US remake includes transgender character Vivian, and it goes just about as you can expect.
I read through that whole article, and there's not really. I hate Fox News, but there wasn't anything that was like, hate towards it or whatever. It was just pointing out. It was just pointing out other transgendered characters that are in other games. That's basically all it is. So it's kind of like. Okay, but yeah, no. Basically, people just look at the title and freak out because they don't read the whole thing. They'll be
Fox News is actually kind of woke, so I don't feel.
So yeah, I
kind of slept.
The article avoids.
No, they are woke.
The article avoids outright opinionating. Hey, we think this is bad, but I think by setting up a gallery of different this game and then this game and then this game, the subtext to it is. There's a woke conspiracy. It wasn't in any way trying to say, hey, this is like a great thing and, things are changing toward the positive or whatever. But if you put it in the context of a Fox News article where they talk about, woke conspiracies all day long, and it was just baiting for the comment section to go off. And the comment section definitely did. So it's like I don't know. It's I don't think it's necessarily good.
I didn't look at the comment section I don't want to look at the Fox News watchers comments, but I mean, it's going to be like 99.9% of most articles on any social media thing. Yeah. They just look at the title and then they're like, blah, 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 blah in the comments. They never read any of it. They just read the title and then they talk about how much they hate trans people.
I'm telling you.
And secretly themselves.
Prepare for it, Fox News. They're gonna remake Space Invaders, but it's gonna be all woke folks invading your space. And you're gonna have to rethink all video games.
I'd love to see those morons try to make a video game. They can barely even make a TV show. But yeah, she was always like that. So
was it a sort of a Birdo scenario where it was alluded to early but not necessarily spelled out?
Well, yeah, I was going to say Nintendo's been woke since 1989 or whenever Mario 2 came out on NES.
Yeah,
whatever year that was.
They put that in the American translation of the manual.
In the instruction manual.
They
did.
Yeah,
the Birdo, the Birdo's trans and all that. So
yeah, I think I don't remember the exact quote from the original, 1,000-Year Door, but I think I remember concluding that this was like loosely alluded to at the time, but now handled with a little bit more care and respect. I think that's pretty much the way that it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm all for things getting translated right, and more trans characters in games.
I agree. And Vivian's always been like a cool character. It's always been a fan favorite, like since back in the day. So they've just made Vivian even more canonically cool. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, 1,000-Year Door is awesome game.
And I'm perusing eBay right now, and you're right. It's like the best time to buy if you're someone like me who wants to play things on the original hardware.
What's the GameCube one?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like $60. Seems to be around the $60-$70.
Yeah, I mean,
not bad for a GameCube game in the modern day.
Yeah, it always.
And that's what it costs to buy the new one. So
right,
you're just buying that version instead.
I got to
make the choice. Yeah,
I got a crazy deal once. I mean, this was like some years ago, but my niece, one of my nieces, when she was going to college, I wanted to buy her. It was like around when she first started college. I got her for Christmas. I bought her a GameCube, and I got her a GameCube for $40, and it actually came with 1,000-Year Door for $40 for a GameCube and the game.
So basically, a free GameCube.
Well, it was.
At the time.
I mean, they knew it was there. It said it was included. Like there was no box or anything. It was just the disc. But still, I thought that was insane how cheap that was. Like a whole GameCube, cords, one controller, and 1,000-Year Door. So I mean, that kind of blew my mind. So I was like,
that was an incredible deal.
Yeah. So I got that.
It'd be hard to give that away. I'd be like, no, I want it.
Well, I wanted to, I was like, hey, we played a lot of, she's always been into video games and stuff like that and Nintendo stuff. And I was like, hey, when I was in college, we played a lot of GameCube. So here's a GameCube for you. And I think she met probably her boyfriend through playing Smash Brothers Melee on there. I think what I heard.
Whoa.
So they did use it.
Matchmaker.
They did use it. So even though we don't really like that guy, but
I mean, Matchmaker, making matches in Smash. Not
sure,
Smash.
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm stuck.
I still can't get into that word as boning or whatever, smashing it.
I know.
It sounds so violent.
I like when people say smash in reference to eating something really fast. Like I'm going to smash that cheeseburger or whatever,
Don't do that to the cheeseburger. What are you talking about?
That poor cheeseburger.
It seems very
been through enough.
Seems very
it's
messy.
Already been ground up and hand pattied.
Seems very messy to smash food into your face, especially like a burger. It's probably got grease and mustard and ketchup or whatever on you. Whatever you got in there.
Don't forget the relish.
I've said enough about Paper Mario, though. I think I'm good. I think we can move on to whatever else.
Sure. Yeah. So this week I didn't play the Delta emulator, so didn't mention it, but kind of. Well, because Trey and I were talking about this when I visited them last weekend, or just a few days ago.
For the Saturday night birthday party, which was pretty good. Most of the people came out that I invited. I think there's a couple people. I
was a little sad that I found out I missed friend of the show, Alex.
Yeah, Alex was there from Super GG Radio for a couple hours at the beginning, but he was the first one to leave. But there were people who got there after you got there, so you weren't the last person there. You got there kind of earlier than I thought. So yeah, there you go. But
sorry, I couldn't make it. But...
He was coming from Rosemont. I know he's like in Chicagoland area, but Rosemont's kind of far. I mean, it's probably
it is
could be as far away as Champaign, depending on the traffic. So But no, yeah.
I've heard that.
But it was kind of fun because it was sort of like a college reunion ish for a lot of us because I hadn't seen everybody together in a while. Like a lot of people that I hung out with in college, like Darren and Jessica and Fidel and Nicole and Conan, like we're all there. So that's kind of like
you had some good parties back in the day too.
All the people that we all used to hang out together. So it's kind of cool to. Some of those people probably haven't seen each other in a while. I don't know when Conan and Darren have seen each other last, or whatever.
Yeah, Darren and Jessica are very interesting people. Like, I mean that in the best way like possible. They were just kind of like they both just have such interesting stories and things. Ideas about things. I don't know. It was fun hanging out with them for sure.
Well, Jessica,
of course, seeing Conan and
got the full-on special effects company going and all that. Which she had one. She started up in college, but they do like fake bodies for like what Chicago Med and all that. So they're like so they're big time now.
Damn, that is big time.
Yeah, that was they make like the fake dead bodies and whatnot and all that sort of thing. Sure.
But also seeing like Caroline and Richard, I hadn't seen them since the wedding and
Robert.
Like I said, sorry, I said Richard. I meant Robert.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, Caroline and Robert were there, and you get to meet some other of Jess's friends, and the other friend that is from Champaign that you knew.
Yeah,
Alicia's brother.
Somebody was there that I actually went to like middle school with. I didn't actually know her in middle school, but I was friends with her brother. But yeah, that's just kind of random.
Yeah, they worked together. But, she worked with Jess at the other place, at the Old Republic or whatever.
Yeah, but good time. But what brought that up, well, other than just wanting to acknowledge it on the show, because we've had like multiple in-person meetups recently, just due to the luckiness of travel and everything. But we were just talking about how much we talked about the Delta emulator for a few weeks there, then like we really don't play it anymore.
Yeah, I kind of dropped off of it.
I played some Chrono Trigger this week, and I actually played probably like an hour. But I got to where I like unlocked Magus, so that was pretty cool. So I got through the whole first section after spoiler, the main character dies, and then you kind of have to go through this sort of like it's sort of like set up like a stealth section, but ultimately you can just go through and beat everybody. You get everybody's equipment back, and that's when they put the wings on the time machine, and you sort of like open up the whole map. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I got Magus, the maps kind of open up, so now I kind of get it's kind of the most fun part of the game, I think. We just got to go around and do like different like side quests, and you can like get all the like chests, like go back in time and activate the items, get like the really good armor and weapons and stuff. So yeah, I'm in a good spot to just have a good time with Chrono Trigger. Then otherwise, I really like. So I played some Tetris Attack. I don't know, for whatever reason, I still haven't really been vibing with it, even in like just playing it with the backbone and handheld mode. But maybe it's just like the way the buttons feel or something. I don't know, because I don't think there's any lag or nothing. Maybe I'm just rusty. But one thing that I really like about Delta, and stop me if I did mention this last week, but the feature on like games like Professor Layton that were all touchscreen. It's great just playing like Layton games on the emulator because you just use your touchscreen on your phone. Yeah,
we did. I mean, we did kind of talk about that a few weeks ago.
I've been playing a lot of the first Layton game, and I'll probably end up playing through all of them because I forgot how chill and relaxing they are, especially like laying in bed, just kind of solving a few puzzles at the end of the night. It's pretty nice.
It worked out well for for if you were somewhere where you had to wait and you want to play something on your phone, you could do DS ones that are touchscreen only without worrying about an attachment and all that. I know I played a bunch of those mini games on Mario 64 DS and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty easy. Or I guess Rhythm Heaven, you would have to have the stereo, the speaker on for that. So maybe not as much, but yeah, stuff like ones that are only touchscreen, you can kind of just pop one on. I guess I did play, I played WarioWare Touched on there because that one's a pretty easy one to play without buttons. And I mentioned that in our Game Boy episode, which will be up soon enough in a few days, probably over the weekend. So I
forgot how much I like the Layton games because they're really like the puzzles are pretty like great in that all the information is right there and you just have to decipher it. Sometimes there's like a little trick or something to the UI or whatever, but for the most part, everything's like really logical and it's super satisfying to solve a puzzle in that game. And it holds up. Like all the puzzles hold up so far. I really enjoyed them. There was one where I had to kill a goat or something. I don't know. It was weird that I had to kill an animal or something as part of the puzzle, but
like sacrifice.
Whatever. It was just like it was something like that. It was like,
you may have to make a sacrifice to the puzzle god, like you're to drain out this goat, like slit its throat and drain it on a sacrifice bed or something, and that's the puzzle. I don't know.
Yeah, cut off its cock first. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was just it was like a puzzle, like a thought experiment, and it involved like killing something or something. I don't remember, like shooting something. I can't remember, but it was cool. So anyway, that game still holds up. I think those games might be like on Apple or something. Maybe you can already play. I could already play them, but I still like playing the original DS version with just a touch screen and not having to worry about having a controller or something with me. I played a lot more Balatro this week. And actually I tried playing PS Remote Play at Trey's house. It worked like pretty much perfectly.
Oh yeah, you did play that for a second.
I am officially like a fan of it. Like as long as the Wi-Fi is good on whatever like area you're in, it should work because I've got my PS5 wired straight into my modem. So
yeah, you just need to hardwire the PS5 or 4, and you need to be on Wi-Fi on your phone, and it should work pretty well from there.
It worked great, and it's kind of funny because the only thing I play in remote play is Balatro anymore because I played a little bit of Animal Well, but I prefer that game on the big screen, and I'll get to that. But no, this week I finished Balatro in the sense that I got through a complete run with all the decks that I've unlocked so far. So now I actually have to use like these different modifier like challenge things to unlock anything else. So in a way, I've kind of finished the vanilla mode. I don't think there's like really rolling credits in this game. You can actually just click on the credits anytime you want as like a menu option. But I don't know. I feel like I've made some pretty serious progress in this. I only have a few things to unlock and like the collectibles and all that. So I love it. I love this game. I might take a bit of a break from it. I am getting a little worn out on it.
Saying you sound like, I mean, you probably got like 100 hours at least between the different versions, right? Between like the PS5 and the Switch one.
Right, which I did, like, and I also have to mention I played the Switch version for a bit this week just to kind of
catch up on that one.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because it's like starting a new game, but not really. Because, I played pretty far into that one. So I'm going back and I'm like completing stuff on that one as well, which is totally unnecessary. But every run's different. So each run is fun. I mean, they did a bang up job with this game. So yeah, I'll probably be playing this one for a while, or I'll just get completely sick of it and just never play it again one of these days. That's sort of how things go.
Get your money's worth for that
video game.
$30.
I've definitely got my money's worth. But yeah, the last thing I want to talk about a little bit was, I mentioned last week that I had rolled credits on Animal Well, but that's not the end.
That's what I heard. Well,
there's more.
There's like credits, but that's kind of like, I heard it's, well, I mean, I would compare it. I don't think anybody else compared it to that, but in my mind, it reminded me of like Pikmin 4. Like Pikmin 4, you have credits, but that doesn't really mean anything. It's like, here's credits. All right. The game keeps going. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
Or what, like Monster Hunter, where all the post-game stuff, yeah.
Yeah, or like, I mean, Dragon Quest 11 was like that too, kind of, where it has like, and was it, Bravely Default 2 did that also, where there was like a really tragic ending, and you just start again. It's like, well, that's not the real ending, and then it keeps going. It's like, here's the credits, but there's more, and then it keeps going after that. So, but yeah, I guess from what I heard, it's like, yeah, you get the credits ending, but then there's the second part, which is like, you go through that, and then there's the like true ending, and then there's a third thing where there's stuff that people may not figure out for
So years. I actually, I finally broke down. I was like, I don't want to just keep like running randomly around, even though that's fun. I just kind of feel like I'm done. in my brain, I've completed the game, even though I know there's more. I'm satisfied, but you know what? I'm going to look online. I'm going to finally see like what's the next thing to do after I roll credits. If there's like something I need to go do that's maybe glaringly obvious or whatever. So I log in to the internet. I log in and I go to google.net.
So it's like,
no, I'm just kidding. It's like,
you set up your AOL, you get your AOL CD in your computer and you're ready to connect.
Tell your brother to get off the phone.
It's like, all right, keyword animal well. And that's how you found it.
Underscore. But no, I did just search. Basically, I'm almost positive my query was like, what's the first thing I should do after rolling credits on Animal Well or whatever. And the first thread it was a thread that popped up from like Reddit, believe it or not. And so I clicked on that, and the very top comment basically said, "Don't look up spoilers, just keep playing. Keep collecting the eggs." And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep like collecting the eggs. So I just started running around to spots on the map I hadn't finished yet, like any proper Metroidvania. That's what I should have been doing anyway. But I started doing that. In the meantime, I ended up unlocking this. I ended up finding this, like, leveling up one of my items that gave me this crazy mobility all of a sudden that I didn't have before. And then the whole game just got like different again, and it's slightly harder. They've like added a bit more obstacles. Like the map is the same, but like there's just like a little bit of extra difficulty. You can't just kind of run willy-nilly from place to place because there's these like little barriers that appear less often before you finish it, but now they're a lot more prevalent. Anyway, I started running around and like I ended up finding all these extra items like this game's like Zelda or Metroid in the sense that you're getting these items that are actually like items you use in the gameplay. They're not like just collectibles completely. So I've gotten actual new quote unquote weapons or whatever, and they've unlocked all these different options for exploring more of the map. And I've probably put in at least 3 or 4 hours more into this game this week, just running around, collecting. That's all I'm doing now. I'm just trying to collect eggs and trying to go everywhere I can in the map. And that's what they want me to do. So I'll probably be playing this for a bit yet. It's solid. It's solid.
Whenever you said you beat it the first time, I was going to ask, like, what's up with those eggs? But I see that you're still collecting them. So it didn't really, there wasn't a conclusion about the eggs on the first time, on the first credits.
Nope. And like, maybe that is kind of a mild spoiler, but I mean, they put it you collect your first egg pretty early on in the game, pretty easily. So I think it's pretty important to collect all the eggs. And also, like, you'll just kind of collect eggs as you go. And as you do, there's this like central room in the game where these little doors will open the more eggs you collect. So it becomes kind of, there's a quantitative reason why you want to get them. So just stay on that track after the credits and you will find a lot more cool stuff, and the game will just become that much more fun. I mean, it really is a lot more fun now that I like have all these extra items and I'm like somewhat familiar with the areas, but I get to like explore these different nooks and crannies that I had no way of accessing before. And yeah, it's a proper Metroidvania in that regard. But there's also supposedly these secrets that Billy Basso is hoping people don't unlock for years. So maybe I'll inadvertently figure one of those out.
I mean, that stuff that I've heard about the secret stuff kind of reminds me a lot of like Tunic, because Tunic I pretty much played through without really.
Oh, that's also free on PS Plus now.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's on regular. It'll be gone by the 4th, so get it now before it goes away. But because it was the May base level. I didn't get it because I already played that game. I already beat it. But I mean, I played through that game, without really looking at anything. But then after I beat it, I looked at stuff, and a lot of it was like, there's no fucking way I would figure that out. You have to like press start like 100 times and press left 30 times or go by another thing. Like it's really, 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 really obscure, like a lot of the secret stuff of Tunic. And when I heard people talking about the secret stuff of Animal Well, it kind of reminded me of that.
So far, none of that's been like, I haven't been, frustrated or whatever by any of the challenges. Like some of them have been pretty tough, but they're still logical, And that's kind of like back to what I was saying about Layton, like where it's like all the solution's there in front of you for the most part. You just have to work it out. It's not like you're missing something. Most likely you're not. If you're in this area, you're able to solve the puzzle they're giving you. With the exception of like a locked door or something. Most of the time, if there's some kind of like environmental puzzle, you're meant to solve it at that moment. So I ended up coming back like when I was exploring and finding a lot of stuff that I missed. Like I thought I had thoroughly, I mean, some of these rooms I'd been in like dozens of times probably, but I just never tried this particular item or whatever, or gone to this particular spot in the screen. And yeah, this game's truly a treasure trove.
Yeah, it's still getting a lot of good press about it. And I'm sure it'll be on a lot of people's Game of the Year lists for sure. I'll come back to it at some point. But
I'd be surprised if it's not on my
I get distracted.
list.
I still need to beat Slayer's X. Like, that's the other one that's just been hanging out in my mind that I never fully beat that game. I need to go
What's
back
that one?
That weird first-person shooter game that I liked with the really funny-sounding villains.
Oh, Slayer's
Vengeance of the Aftermath or whatever.
It's called Slayer's X, Terminal Aftermath, Vengeance of the Slayer. That's what it's called. But yeah,
it's not Vengeance, it's Vangance.
It's Vengeance, yeah. It's spelled wrong on purpose. But yeah, it's I still need to go back and play that game. But I've been distracted by Paper Mario, as I figured I would, because it's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to play through Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door since we were going to do...
the Paper Mario GOAT.
It was like back when Jeremy and I used to do like streaming stuff on the regular. We were going to do like a kind of like a book club thing where we'll both play through a chapter or something or try to stream it. And we tried to do it, and that was when I found out that it didn't work. Was when we tried to do, because you remember we used to do those dual streams, and you would like piece them together, like a split screen stuff.
Which was actually, this is probably not as hard to do as I was making it for myself back then.
Yeah, but yeah, we were going to do that because we did it for. I know we did it like a little bit on. Didn't we do it like some Resident Evil 4, and we did some like Castlevania.
My favorite one we did was the Castlevania.
Yeah, we did like the Aria of Sorrow thing. And
that was super cool.
And we were going to do 1,000 Year Door, but my game was broken. So whenever that was, like 5 years ago, or well, no, probably more than that. It's probably like 15 years ago or something. But
it was like 82 years ago, I think.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Look it up. I mean, you could find it on. Well, no, I guess you wouldn't be able to find the Paper Mario on YouTube because it didn't work. But if you could find our Castlevania one, and whenever that was, it was around that time. But.
So find our videos of Castlevania and maybe some other ones. Go to ChatGPT 4.0, whatever the new one is.
No.
Say, create a video of this, but them playing Paper Mario on GameCube, and then it'll do it for you.
Go to
YouTube. You'll get to see it.
Go to youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast, and that's where you can find it. And all that stuff. Anyway.
Or you can do that.
Yeah. But let's take a break, and we'll come
Sounds
back
good to me.
and talk about Zelda and Dragon Quest news or whatever else. So, BRB.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go! And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
We're back from the break. What's going on in that game that's a year old that I haven't played in over a year, John?
A whole lot. So, I beat a couple of games last week, and I felt like those were games that were on my to beat list for a long time, and I felt like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I'm going to take on the biggest game on my list. So it's time to go into Tears of the Kingdom.
Really making some progress.
I'm proud of you.
On your backlog here.
Yeah.
And you did get back to Tears of the Kingdom, and you tell everybody. Seems like you put a lot of time in there.
Yeah, and so I did put a lot of time in. I put in 25 hours this week, I think, including 14 hours on Monday. So that was my Zelda day. I woke up at 6:30. I started playing about 7. I didn't stop playing till like 9 o'clock or something like that, until the point when my eyes were just hurting and I needed to shut them because I was just staring at the screen.
And then you shut them and you're just like designing vehicles.
That's exactly it. Yep. Coming up with new schematics in my head. Yep. So to get back into the game, I took on Jeremy's strategy that he mentioned a couple of shows ago, where he said good idea is to just explore the depths. And the depths was the part of the game that I had explored the least as of that time. I had completed the surface map, most of the sky map, just like I would say probably maybe I only did 40% of the depths, maybe even like 35. And so my strategy was, well, I had like the top and then the left side done. So I was like, let me just complete the circle, do the perimeter. Mm-hmm. I had some in the middle, but not much in the middle. But let me just work on completing the circle. I'm just going to walk around the perimeter and complete that.
Well, that makes anything in the center, like, you can find a warp point closer to any point in the center at that point. Exactly.
Yeah, it was part of the strategy. Just thinking like I could get to anywhere a little bit easier from there. And then also when I did that, after I completed the circle, I decided I need to focus on cleaning up my map. As I mentioned before on the show, I made real systemic use of the map and the map icons, and just was like really attentive about trying to only mark certain things with certain icons. And
so is it anything that you go back to and you forget what your icon meant, or do you always remember what your icon meant?
Most of the time I remembered what it meant. I tended to use so I would always use the jewel icon for hey, I see a shrine off in the distance. So I knew what those all were. The only sort of question mark was the star was just my sort of catch-all for something that doesn't have a clear correlated icon.
You just know it's some place you need to like figure out.
Exactly. Like, hey, there's something interesting there, and I don't know how to categorize it with an icon, so I'm going to put a star on it. And so, first I went and I completed all of the shrines that I had marked. Not to be confused with completing all the shrines. I still have more to go. But then I went and I investigated all those stars, all those sort of mystery points, and cleared those up. Either completed the challenge or whatever. Or
I would hope those were some of the most fun spots, because if you were so unsure that you got to like figure it out, that was probably pretty satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to just figure out. Oh, what did I find interesting? 7 months ago or a year ago when I last played this game. And I went and retrieved some treasures. Like I had some X's on the depths map. Found some cool stuff. I found Majora's Mask, which that was fun to get. That was one of the starred ones. I was like, no, not did I mark it with a skull? I don't know. But in any case, you had to fight a Lionel and then another Lionel. And I was like, I remember being like, okay, I'm out. I don't have enough to fight 2 Lionels. Let me beef myself up a little bit. I beefed myself up and got all the special stews and power ups and all that stuff.
You need to get rid of the gloom.
Yeah, I got a gloom resistance 30 minutes meal.
Oh, nice.
I got a couple of gloom resistant outfits and stuff. Beat the second Lionel and I was like, oh fuck, there's a third Lionel. Then beat the third one and like oh no, there's 4. That means there's 5. Sure enough, there's 5 Lionels in a row.
If there's more than 3, there's 5. That's the normal video game amount.
No, that's absolutely the hardest part of the game, in my opinion. From anything I played, was the 5 Lionels.
Well, I was.
You can kind of glitch it out where you can sort of do like a save point, but you mostly have to fight at least a couple of them in a row.
Yeah, it was really tough, and I pretty much spent every valuable commodity that I had, broke all my weapons, drank all the potions. And I've made a habit of, as far as my inventory, I like to never spend down to 0 on anything, because you just never know when some character is going to be like, hey, I need a swift carrot, and you better have one.
That's smart.
Just to
keep them on you.
To keep it going, right? And so one of the things, after I'd used all my powerful items, I think I had a couple of arrows left. There was just like nothing good to attach to the arrow. I used something that I'd never used on an arrow before, which was, I forget what it's called, but it was one of the Zonai weapons. It's like a shard of something. And that took out the Lionel in 1 hit.
Was it from something you got from one of the dragons?
It wasn't from one of the dragons. It was like a.
Did you get it from the vending machine? Since the Zonai thing?
No, it was like I must have got it from some robot, like a powerful robot that I defeated or something. But that, whatever it was, it takes out the Lionel in a single.
It was like
hit.
a Zonai charge that you would normally maybe cash out, but you could also use it as a weapon.
Not a charge. It was like an arrow tip or something.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's not quite like the
an ancient blade. I think
ancient blade. Yeah. So it's not quite like the light arrows, but it's very similar to what are they called in Breath of the Wild?
The ones that are arrows? Yeah, something like the ones that go against the Guardians or whatever, or powerful.
Yeah. That's this game's version of that. Well, it's like a tip you could put on your weapons or your firearms.
I think they're true. Ancient or something. I don't know. I haven't thought.
It was an ancient something or other, but that's how I discovered under pressure that this thing was like the magic solution for fighting Lionels.
I think it might did you get a drop from that Lionel, or because sometimes those things will. So that Lionel in particular drops stuff, because I worry about those kind of charges where they'll you won't get the drop.
Get the drops. No, you still got the drops. Yeah, you got all the
cool.
All the powerful Lionel weapons and stuff. And then I had a second one of those, so I took out the 5th Lionel with that too. Yeah, and that was just like, whoa, that was very fun.
And you have to wait until
and it was one shot again too.
One shot again from full Lionel full health down to 0. He's dead.
Okay, I don't think I did that. Or if you know what, I did do that. Actually, that's exactly what I did. Now that I remember, I think that's exactly what I did.
What do you? So this is in the depths, right? What do you get? What do you get for the 5 Lionels, or is it like it's not part of the Majora's Mask, right? Oh, the Majora's Mask thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is it's probably the hardest item in the game. And I don't remember if it has like.
I probably didn't get it because I don't remember fighting 5 Lionels, but I do remember
just cosmetic.
I do remember doing like some sort of
just cosmetic,
some sort of gauntlet thing in the depths where I got a thing, but I don't think it was that. But it was from another Zelda game where it was something. Maybe it was something from Wind Waker. I don't remember.
Well, no, there's the Fierce Deity mask. I think you.
I think it was that one because I think I have that one. But
I found that one pretty early. I was kind of surprised. I thought it would be like a late game.
Or maybe it was a different... I don't know. It was something that had like a gauntlet that you had to go through that I thought was kind of hard. But not... No. I don't think it was five Lionels.
So as far as working to clear the map, the other big thing that I did was attack a bunch of the Korok challenges, which that's really especially useful is if you find whatever icon you use, I suggest finding an icon to represent the Koroks because you find so many of them. There's like 1,000 of them in this game.
We don't always want to deal with their bullshit.
I don't want to do that right now.
Isn't there like a leaf icon?
There's a leaf, yeah. So I would mark it all with the leaf. And so I went from the top of the map and just kind of zigzagged across, attacking all the different.
You want that poop?
Oh yeah, I got all the poop. Yeah, so I had some fun with that. And then, but the biggest thing that I accomplished was just like, I don't know, this game is just great at having you create moments for yourself where you can succeed in your own very satisfying way. One of those was I had one last labyrinth to get to up in the sky. And I was like, well, let me try and go to this one last labyrinth. And so I got, starting from one platform that had no specific name, but it was in the southeast corner of the map and a little sky island, whatever. I was like, let me get to this Lomai Sky Labyrinth. It looks reachable from here. But I only had 2 rockets left. There's a couple of items there on that sky island to use, and it was like obviously suggesting like, hey, you can get creative and get to that big giant cube in the sky from here if you want to, right? So I decided to go for it.
I mean, it's pretty easy. Sorry, that was dark.
To get to that giant cube in the sky.
Well, they have one of the things they had was there's these giant platforms that kind of just hover without the Zonai power, and you can just reposition them, and they'll just stay there. It's like this giant, like 25 by 25, square or whatever you can.
I know. I love those things. I wish I could own them to build things with.
Yeah, they're cool, and it was useful. I was like, first I tried flying one over there, and that really didn't work out. But I was like, all right, I've got so many different objects. I think I can. Let me use my last 2 rockets. I'm going to boost myself on this giant platform, and then I think I can perhaps launch a plane from there. I think the rockets can get me all the way up to most of the way anyway, to the labyrinth. Well, the rockets didn't get me most of the way. They only got me about like 1/10 of the way. And so I'm stuck there. I have no rockets. And I just got a couple of items in my pocket. And like, do I bail now and go search the map for more rockets and all that? Or do I just like, I'm almost there. I like probably looks like about a mile away. It's like a mile up on a 45-degree angle. It's like, I think I want to try and get creative, see what I can do. I have 17 of those floating Zonai platforms. I wonder if I can do this. And what I ended up attempting to do was to stair step my way up that full mile using those floating platforms plus the giant platform. First I tried with just the floating platform. The problem with that was they're too small that when I get up on the next one, I can't get the angle to reach down to grab the smaller one. So I was like, I got to
use that as a stair. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I had to re-strategize. What I did was I attached a couple of fans. I attached 5 fans in a vertical stack to the giant platform, which would then allow me to reach from the new small platform and grab the giant platform. I would grab it by the fan, I would lift it up and then put it in the sky above me, and then I could turn the corner of the giant platform to just reach above the little platform I was standing on, and then boom, ascend up. I did this rinse and repeat, hoping that I would have enough platforms to get at least most of the way there. And then my thought was, I'm going to get on a plane and boost myself up for the rest of the way. So this took 45 minutes. Just rinse and repeat, stair stepping my way up, getting closer and closer every time. And then finally, there I've used my last Zonai platform. I have to launch the plane. So I take out all the tools and stuff. I take out what am I going to need? I'm going to need the plane. I'm going to need a spring to jump the plane up. I'm going to need 2 fans for the plane. I'm going to need, because I don't know if I'm quite all the way there, but I think I need 3 batteries to attach to the plane, and I can get there. I'm taking all this stuff out. And
were you using a control stick, or are you just like moving around?
Oh, the control stick as well. I use the control stick too. Yep. So
it's really fun to just ride around the glider by like moving around on it to make it move, to control.
I like the balance, the
gravity,
like, because you can turn left by walking all the way to the right, and then you turn you can totally steer it by just walking around on it.
Oh yeah, yep. Now, I was using the control stick and all that stuff, and I had all the parts out, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me just get to building this thing. And as I have all the parts laid out, that's when I realized those floating platforms that I had laid out, I'm seeing them pass by me. I'm like, why are they going up? wait, they're not going up. I'm going, I totally forgot that when you take stuff out of your pockets and put it on the giant platform, it weighs the giant platform down. And so I'm losing altitude rapidly. I'm like, fuck, I gotta build this plane, and I have to prioritize what I'm going to attach. So I was like, I've got the spring attached already. Okay, let me flip the plane over. I need 2 fans. I need the sticks. That's it. Sorry, I can't do the batteries. But I don't have time to do the batteries, but I'm losing the Zonai power because those platforms are still there draining the power. And fuck, let me just do this. Attach the fans, attach the sticks.
Do you have the auto builder?
I do, but I did not. Like it in that moment,
you were building something custom that wasn't
because you gotta make it learn stuff before it'll auto build for you, right? The auto builder.
Yeah. And so I just threw it all together. Let me go. I don't have time for the batteries. It doesn't matter that I only have 2 cells of Zonai power left. I just have to go. Hop on the plane, launch up with the spring. Boom. Fans are on. I'm guiding my way up. I'm pulling back on the stick as far as I can. Not quite getting there. I'm about maybe 50 feet below the ground of the labyrinth at this point. I'm like so close, and there's like 1.5 batteries left, and it's draining. And then finally, just as I cross the boundary into the sky zone, that like gives me this weird little boost, and I go straight vertical, and I just inch my way up 5, maybe 10 feet over the ground level of the labyrinth. I jump off the plane, land. I just like throw the controller down, do a fist pump, and then save the game. It's like, oh my, that was amazing.
I'm glad you saved immediately. That was smart.
Saved immediately. Yep. Yeah. So that was just really satisfying.
And I saw you actually mapped it out on the hero's path in the Slack, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's where showed where you went and came back.
Yep.
That's quite just to cover vertically and horizontally with just the items you had at hand. Very impressive.
Yeah, it was quite just a matter of like, do I attempt to do this, or because I'm like part of the way there, let me just finish the job, or do I abandon it and try to go get the rockets or whatever? It's like, nope, let me just do it, and I was able to do it. So
I think it's important, just in case listeners don't remember, I did finish this game first, but I abused the shit out of the item glitch and like did not download any updates for a while.
Oh yeah, no,
got as many of those.
You had
as
like
I could.
You had like 120,000 rupees or something like that. It was really stupid, like the amount that you had.
Well, basically, I just had like enough charges to like max out all my like Zonai items that I had, so I could build whatever I want. But you do eventually, like with the auto build, especially, you need to go farm resources for that. And I had already used those up at that point, so I'm back to the beginning. But I beat the game in the meantime.
Yeah, you did beat the game first, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're the only one here that has, so you did beat it first, or did you beat it also, John? Is that the secret here?
No, I did not.
Tell us about?
No, I did not beat it.
I thought there was like a secret thing. It was like, no, and I beat it too. It'd be like, ah.
No, I did not beat it yet, but I will.
I mean, after an experience like this, I don't see a reason to beat it unless you really want to, because it sounds like you're excited about the game again. So just play it.
That's what I was going to ask. Is like, do you have a plan? Like how long when you decide to beat it, or are you just gonna not just fuck around and?
Those hot air balloons are crucial. The hot air balloons and the fire jets, like those are really, really good for lifting something up before you have to take off at a glider or whatever. So I recommend that. Like my favorite vehicle I built was basically and this was like before I got Auto Builder, and I still used it afterwards. It was just like a hot air balloon with a couple of jets on it, and I wouldn't fire them until the battery started to run out, and then I'd hit those after I got as high as I could go. And actually, usually my item would fade before the battery ran out, so I would just like jump off, and it just gave me a lot of forward, like, initially vertical and then horizontal momentum afterwards.
Yeah, there were those. I just didn't trust that. Like, I think I was too far that, the plane itself gives out after a while. Like,
yeah, that'll
no matter what
disappear too.
Like, your balloon.
So the balloons do this. Yeah, so it's true. And I don't know. I like the thinking of just building your path all the way up. And I know I did something similar. There's a whole section I got to. I think it was the water temple that's like up in the sky. I got there. I don't remember how I got there, but I didn't get to a spot where
you did it without
I could save.
Yeah, without like any of the you didn't do the proper way because you didn't have like the fish or some specific fish or whatever that you had to get to.
Yeah, where you could like climb up the waterfalls or whatever it was. So yeah. I didn't get the save point or whatever, the fast travel point, and I died, and then I had to get back up there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and so I did it all with those hot air balloon things I was telling you about, where I would just use those to like go from spot to spot, and it may not have worked with the labyrinth, every structure is different, but it worked to get me back up there, and it was a really long, arduous process that was very similar with me using like stairs and like I said, the flying machines and stuff. But it was so fun. It was so fun to just like subvert the rules of the game and go the way I wanted to.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. I actually went in today and beat that labyrinth, which those labyrinths, as you'll recall, are actually like three parts. There's the one on the land, there's the one in the sky, and there's the one down below as well. And for the one, after I beat I think I beat the one on the land first, but I got to the sky, and then I realized that I wasn't actually allowed to enter that labyrinth until I beat the one on the ground
at the land. Yeah,
but when I dove down, jumped right down, I basically could see like where the end of the labyrinth was on the land. So I didn't do any of the labyrinth. I jumped from the sky straight to the temple. So I did that my own way. I was like, you know what? Like, do I want to like go through this whole labyrinth just for the sake of doing it the right way or whatever? Like, nah, screw it. I want to do it in the spirit of how I just stair climbed my way up to the sky labyrinth. I'm just going to do it my own way. So
it's just also really fun. It's like, will this work? And then like you're already in the thick of it. You're like, I got to make it work.
Got to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so satisfying how you can make this game your own in any way that you want to. So that's my Zelda story for this week, and more Zelda stories to come because I'm on board for Tears all the way to the end.
But you're not going to rush it. I mean, you're just going to play this till whenever.
I'm going to keep playing. Yeah, I'm not. I guess my plan. Yes, what my plan was. First, I'm going to clear the depths, map all that out, and then
it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like it's so scary and intimidating at first, but as you get more powered up, like the depths become a lot of fun to explore.
Yeah, it's just about constant discovery, which Zelda has been about in the past, but I think the depths might be the first instance in Zelda where the whole map is about discovery.
It's like the depths are like one giant dungeon, really. Like there's little sections that are like different, like access to like mini dungeons, but as a whole, like the depths are one giant dungeon.
That's true.
And it's kind of like, returning to a hub and things unlock, but not quite the same. But as you get more resources, you can do more in the depths, and it just becomes like its own meta game in a way. Especially since they, everyone knows by now, but the shrines correspond, or the light points correspond to shrines above.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're backwards also, or one, the name of them is like reversed on the bottom.
Which is incredibly cool and like makes exploration even more fun. Like you would think it would make it easier, and maybe it does, but like it's more fun because you don't know what to expect next.
Yeah.
And sometimes all of a sudden, like your armor's wrong and you're burning to death, and you're like, God damn it.
So the other thing I'll talk about is not Nintendo, but man, I love this movie and I got to talk about it. So I saw The Crow in theaters for its 30th anniversary tonight.
I actually heard about this months ago. Well, because one of our Wrestle Chat people, Logan, said he was going at Alamo. Actually, I think he's in. I forget where he's at. I think he's in like Boston or something. But they were doing a thing for that for the 30th anniversary thing. So I heard it was happening.
It's a Fathom event.
But I don't know. I think I don't know if they were doing it at. Maybe they weren't doing it at our Alamo. But I'd heard of it being a thing, and I figured that if it was available to you, you would go, because that's like your favorite movie, or was your favorite movie at some point. It was your favorite movie in college. I remember that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was my favorite movie since middle school, and so I let my friend Rich know, and
it was out It was out that long ago. I guess I forget that you guys are like a couple years younger than me. So the first time, I just want to say, the first time I ever watched The Crow, I bought a bootlegged copy of it from my local comic book store, and I watched it filmed from somebody's pocket in a theater on my VHS, on my VCR at my mom's house. It was funny because we actually had somebody like appraising the house while I was trying to watch it, and this was at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And every time somebody would come into the room while I was watching it, I would be like, I'd like get nervous, and I'd turn the movie off, and then I'd go to a different room. And then they'd come to that room, and then I'd turn it off, and then I'd go to a different room, and then they'd come to that room, and then I'd turn it off and go to a different room. And I always think I should have just stayed in the room, because they're done with that room, and they're going to go to a different room now. But I was like, I was whatever. I was like a teenager or whatnot. But
that reminds me of this dream I always have. I've had this dream so many times in my life where I'm like, I really have to pee, because I have to pee in real life, but in the dream I'm dreaming about it.
Oh yeah, I have dreams.
And I'm trying to find a bathroom, and every bathroom I go to, I'll go in there and it'll be empty, and then all of a sudden a bunch of random people will walk in, like kids, elderly people, just random people will just walk into the bathroom and start populating it. And I'm like, and there's no stall doors or whatever. Or sometimes I'm pooping, but it's funny because I'll go to a different bathroom and the same thing will happen every bathroom I go to.
Yeah, I have those all the time. Or you want to pee, but there's no door on the bathroom, or or you're gonna pee in a sink or something, but there's people around and you feel bad about it. There's all these different things where it's I could pee in this bucket, but there's a parade of people over here, and I don't want to do it there because then I'll get in trouble.
But it's full of all these different things that are being donated to the children's hospital.
Yeah, there's always it's I can't find a bathroom, so I try to find another thing that would be sort of acceptable for me to pee in, in the dream, but then there's all this other stuff that happens. So yeah, I've had those dreams as well.
I made sure to pee before watching The Crow.
But yeah, but anyway, I got this fucking bootlegged copy of The Crow from the comic store, and I didn't really know what it was, but I watched it multiple times, and I bought a legit copy of the VHS after that. And I love that. I love that movie, and I know that I'm gonna get hated, but I love the second one too. I love that movie. I watched it a billion times. The City of Angels movie with fucking Iggy Pop is in there as one of the main characters. Yeah. No, I love that second one.
Is that the one with Nicolas Cage?
Great soundtrack.
No, Nicolas Cage is not in any of the Crows, as far as I know.
City of Angels.
Ghost Rider.
No,
there's a movie called City of Angels.
I'm talking about the good City of Angels, the one with the crow in it. No, I like that second one a lot, and it's a different crow.
I haven't seen that.
So who cares?
I've not seen that since that came out. So I've been meaning to rewatch it, and remember thinking, "Oh, this is kind of disappointing." So I wonder how I'd feel about it now. But the first one,
I didn't necessarily. Well, see, all right. So I read the novelization of the second Crow movie before I saw the movie. I thought it was like the book, but it was the novelization of the movie.
Of the movie.
But the novelization actually has a different ending than the movie does. And there's actually, I found a fan-drawn comic of the novelization of The Crow 2 with the original ending on there.
A fan...
Was it like based off an early script or something?
Yeah, it was based off an early script.
I have to track this. A fan-drawn comic book of the novelization
of The Crow 2, of City of Angels,
to The Crow, an adaptation of the Crow graphic novel. Okay, I got it all figured.
Well, the second movie, I don't think the second movie had a comic at all because there's
I'm tracing back.
It's created.
It's a sequel to the original movie, which was an adaptation of the graphic novel.
This is no
fantastic lineage.
More convoluted than like the Marvel universe.
So, well, I mean, I've read the full fan created comic of the original script for Star Wars Episode 9, which is miles better, like so much better than the shitty J.J. Abrams one that we got. So, I mean, I've been here before. It's not a bad thing. Like they took the original script, the one that was not the one that we got, but the original, I think it was called it was similar to Duel of the Fates. I mean, that's the song from Episode 1, but it's something like that, like Dueling Fates or whatever it is. I don't know. Anyway, I've read that in its entirety, and it's pretty awesome. Like the actual original script for 9, before Disney decided they were going to cater to the racists and make Rise of Skywalker, which is what we got. But yeah, anyway, I've been there before, and I was just the only reason that I was thinking about the Crow 2 again. This is another side thing. It's because the lady who played adult Sarah in The Crow 2 in City of Angels actually plays Amanda, Spock's mother, in Star Trek, in the newest Star Trek show on Discovery and Brave New Worlds and all that. So, or Strange New Worlds. So I was like, I know her. She looks familiar. And I was like, oh, she was in fucking City of Angels. That's where you know her. And it's just crazy that it goes all the way back then. But no, I always liked that movie. I always liked that movie because, Brandon Lee died in the first one, and that sucks. But this wasn't a remake of that. Like, this was a completely different story. This is a different character.
New character.
And it was about his love for his son and not his wife. And they did different versions of that. I actually have a novel that had no movie about a woman that was pregnant and she was killed with her child, and the love of her unborn child brings her back or whatever. So they did different Crow, comics and books and all that stuff, and that's why I liked it, because it separated itself enough from the first one, except the only thing that was the through line was Sarah. Was that Sarah was older.
Isn't Spawn a little bit like the Crow?
Kind of, but Spawn is much more fucked up. Like, Spawn is supposed to be like, it's just Spawn in itself is just kind of making fun of just like the whole thing of God and Satan and all that stuff, and just kind of poking fun with it. And the idea is,
attaching a bunch of chains and
Spawn doesn't really know who he is when he comes back to life, and he's basically becomes like a homeless person because he doesn't remember that he was a human at all. He just comes back as this devil monster or whatever that has no idea what's going on, and he has to kind of learn what he was through various issues or whatever. So whereas the Crow knows that he was murdered with his girlfriend, wife, whatever, and has to avenge his love and all that shit. Whereas Spawn is just kind of tortured. Is the idea is he gets thrown back on Earth. The devil puts him back on Earth to hunt down people or whatever, but he has no idea what the fuck's going on with himself, and he kind of learns it after a while, learns what had happened to him and all that. From small pieces of memory or whatever.
See, for the record, I've never read a single Spawn comic. My dad just collected and resold the action figures when they were super popular in the late 90s.
He could have made a lot off the issues too.
So I know all about Malabolgia.
Yeah,
the
Malbolgia. Yeah,
the character that took more, or the figure that cost more to like make than they were selling it for.
Was it played by John Leguizamo from Mario Brothers the original?
But like the figure was so heavy that the figure was so heavy that it would bend the like little like card thingy like that would hold on the spoke. You know what I mean? Like how they like have the action figures hang. So like if you had one where that wasn't folded, that it was even more valuable.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of. I mean, we talked about it before. I'm sure about how Image
many times.
Image kind of like took over the comic industry and all that. Like kind of saved the comic industry for that time because there are all these stories of people finding old comic books in their parents' houses and all that and making money off of it. So everybody started buying a ton of comics in the 90s. So regular comics like weren't really worth anything anymore. And there was the whole thing about artists and writers like having their shit owned by Marvel, and Image was like, well, hey, why don't we start our own thing? We actually own our own characters, and we can actually make money off it and all that. And it was the ultimate anti-Marvel.
It's something you can't just like buy for cheap. You have to buy the new stuff.
And then they had, Spawn was huge, and Gen 13 was huge, and like Youngblood, and like all these other like big Image comics. I mean, it was like Walking Dead was an Image comic, and continuing like Saga and all this other stuff. But we've gone way off the point. Anyway, The Crow, the original one, the 30th anniversary.
Saw it in theaters. I loved it. I saw it with my buddy Rich, who back in 1994 when we met. This was a movie that we really bonded over, and I don't know if I don't know if I could say we were friends because this movie. Like if it was the first thing, I can't really recall, but it's definitely one of the first things that was like, I love this, you love this. Oh man, we understand each other. And so when I found out this was coming to theaters, first thing I did was I contacted Rich. I said, we're going. And so we hung out today, went to dinner beforehand and went to a restaurant called Ghost Tacos or something, like a new restaurant. It was like, all right, let's go to Ghost Tacos, and keeping with the theme with the Crow. And the restaurant was really good.
Did they serve eyeballs in the tacos?
They did not serve eyeballs in the tacos. Not like Biling's character. No.
Yeah, there was a whole eyeball eating scene in there
was an eyeball feed.
Cooked eyeballs.
You didn't order the Ojo tacos?
Yeah.
I got to the movie and we're just kind of like,
that movie was pretty out there for the time, like especially that like
totally out there.
That fucking like that fight on top of the church with the swords and all that. Like that's pretty fucking crazy. Like
sure.
Yeah. And I still think of because we're getting older, I still think of what that guy says, where he says, you don't become an adult until you realize you're going to die. I still think about that line a lot.
Yeah, my dad.
It's probably our own place in our lives. But no, I mean that was a line that
snow globe, and he's talking about
that was a line that never left me.
He's like, he's like, my daddy always told me that the day you learn you're going to die is the day you become a man. And I was 5 years old. So like, one of the comments I made to Rich after the movie, just like witnessing all these characters, like Top Dollar, who said that line, the lackeys who just like start the movie by swallowing bullets, and these guys who are rapists and murderers, and just like their motto is fired up. These characters, like they're like we live in Detroit, this city, which is depicted at the time as rotting and falling apart, and they're just kind of like, rather than deciding to try and do something good with themselves, they're like, let's not only live in this squalor, let's revel in it. And they're just like animals. They're just like they begin the movie by threatening to shoot each other, the four friends, quote unquote friends, but they're like getting pissed and pointing guns at each other, and they're like, hey, fire it up.
They're in a fucked up situation, I guess.
Yeah,
they're in a fucked up situation with each other.
And in the wrong hands, I think this movie could have been filled with one-note characters, but I felt like all these characters, these actors, first of all, the characters were well written, well defined. The way that they introduced those four bad guys in the bullet scene, each of them swallows the bullet. It's almost like a Russian roulette type game or something.
Like
but they're challenging each other
or whatever. Yeah,
they're challenging each other to swallow the bullets, and each of them swallows the bullet in such a way that clearly tells you right off what this guy is, who he is. There's the one guy who just like swallows it and goes, whoa, that's fun boy. There's the other guy who just kind of looks everybody cold and puts it on his tongue and just coolly swallows it down. He's the leader. Like that. What a cool and efficient.
It's a bunch
way.
of Chekhov's bullets.
So who's T-Bird? Is he the leader or no? Do you remember which one is T-Bird? T-Bird's the leader.
T-Bird's the leader. He's the one who's also in the Warriors.
Yeah, well, and Twin Peaks, most importantly. But
Twin Peaks, yeah.
I haven't seen The Crow in a long time, and I guess I was looking at it on IMDb, and I was like, I know there's somebody in there that I know very well that I forgot was in there. And yeah, that's fucking Benjamin Horne's brother, from Twin Peaks, which I know him. We obviously know him from the Warriors and a lot of things. Anything he was in was great. What was it?
Oh yeah, he gets great performance.
The Dreamscape movie that was like that was kind of like Inception, but I think it's better. That he's in that one as well. He's like the main villain. He's like the Snake Man or whatever. But yeah, he's awesome in all the things that he's in.
And I have to say, as many times as I've seen this movie, it's just true what they say. Seeing a movie in the theater is a completely different experience. Go see your favorite movie in the theater if you ever can. If you got some old movie, you've only seen it on video, make an effort to go see it in the theater however you can, because it's just a totally different experience. First of all, everybody who was there at that movie was a fan of the movie. There was nobody talking. Everybody was dressed, a certain way that was like, all right, they're probably a fan of The Crow, yeah.
It wasn't like a music box thing where everybody tries to get to the line before it happens. That's always annoying, where they try to quote the whole movie.
Nope.
While you're
nothing like that.
I thought we might run into that when we went to go see The Toxic Avenger at Alamo Draft House, but they're very much a no talking, policy at Alamo, so nobody said anything. But it was awesome to see.
So no Rocky Horror at the Alamo Draft House.
Well, maybe they might. I don't know. Maybe they might change it for that. But I mean, Jess and I saw UHF at the Music Box, and I love UHF. But it was, everybody wanted to like prove that they knew all the lines, so they try to get to the lines before everybody else is. And that's really that's kind of annoying to me, because I'm afraid that they're going to mess up some of the jokes, because we went there and Jess had never seen it before. So
that's
it's
different.
It's kind of annoying. Like it's it's just shut the fuck
up.
Like let the movie be the movie. I know we know you saw it a million times. Like come on, you don't have.
It's like in a way it's not quite like The Room, but UHF has got the cult status like The Room, where you would kind of assume everyone that's there is going to have seen it already, and you're going to talk about Twinkie Wiener sandwiches and stuff,
I think it's probably the theme of the movie too. Like with The Crow, obviously it's a movie that you go into. If you're a fan, you go into it with a certain amount of respect, certainly because of the theme, but also certainly because Brandon Lee passed away.
The tragedy and all that,
making the movie. And so nobody was talking during this movie. Everybody was just there to experience the film. Probably a bunch of people just like myself, never seen it in the movie theater before, because we were 12 when it came out or whatever, and it's an R-rated movie. But yeah, I've been waiting 30 years to see this movie in the theater, and it was just a great experience. I noticed things about it that I'd never noticed before, like one of the great details, it being a Detroit movie, in the bar scene I'd never noticed before, but above the jukebox there's a sign for Stroh's beer. Stroh's is a very Detroit brand.
Is it? Well, I mean, I used to. So, what was it at the Flatiron in Chicago? Yeah. That was one of the few places, packaged good bars, where you could buy beer after hours, like after 4 a.m. And you could buy.
You get 15 packs of Stroh.
And you would buy Stroh's from there. Yeah. That's what the beer they would
sell.
They sold
them
in
15 packs, which I thought was cool.
I don't remember that, but I did go there and get Stroh's packs of Stroh's from there.
And so that registered in my mind. And then right as the movie, credits rolled and whatever, I heard the guy behind me said they even had Stroh's beer in there. Like, yep. Mm-hmm. So we felt seen as Detroiters.
I guess I never knew that it was a Detroit movie.
Which is just the word shorts
Detroit,
by the way.
But here's the thing though about it being a Detroit movie. First of all, that really registered with me as a kid, because it's like, oh, it's a movie in Detroit where I'm from. Cool. So I did pick up on that when they said Detroit, and it's Devil's Night. Devil's Night is originates from Detroit, all that. But looking at this movie now, as I remarked to Rich after the show, this doesn't. They say it's Detroit, and I know this movie was made in 1994, but it doesn't scream Detroit. And it doesn't scream 1994. This is like a timeless movie. They did such a fantastic job with the art direction, with just their storytelling in general. This movie feels like it could have been made in any city that's down on its luck, to say the least, at any period in time. It is absolutely a timeless film. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Doesn't RoboCop take place in Detroit?
So
it does. Yep.
That's a pretty awesome timeless movie, I would say.
According to Wikipedia, they shot this in North Carolina.
They shot it in North Carolina. Not a minute of it was shot in Detroit. It's North Carolina. And
they just say it's
Los
Detroit.
Angeles. Yeah.
Okay, because I never put it together, but I guess I'm not from Detroit. But I always figured it was like, I don't know, it was like fucking Gotham or something. It was some made up city, because it was a comic book. Like that's what I thought when I saw it.
James O'Barr James O'Barr, the author, is from Detroit, and it's inspired by a real life tragedy. He got in a car accident. His girlfriend got killed, and The Crow was his catharsis. So he set the movie in Detroit. And but I think that it was actually most of all the overhead shots are models. The wide sweeping shots of Detroit, those are all models. I think the movie would have been much worse if it wasn't made with models like that. There's a little featurette before the film where they talk to the art director, and he kind of comments and says, like,
"Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, looking at it now, you could sort of tell that we didn't have a lot of money, but I think that made the movie even better because it feels handcrafted. Like as we're flying through the city, this is the art director saying this, you can see that these are models, but I think it lends the film sort of an otherworldly and hands-on quality, which is exactly what the comic book had. If you look at the original graphic novel, it's made with passion by an artist who at times doesn't necessarily adhere to, say, any sort of strict guidelines. Like sometimes the characters look a little off key or whatever you want to call it, but he's drawing it with passion, and the grit and the few little errors here and there actually supplement that passion and make the project feel better. I feel the same way about the movie. The fact that it was hands-on, and it just has this aura of like, yeah, they might have had Miramax money to make the movie, but it feels like they got away with something. Feels like they got away with making this really emotional, almost art house movie in the guise of a gritty revenge thriller. So bravo to them, and thanks to them for making this film. And you can't help but think of Brandon Lee as you watch this movie, and it's thank him for a great performance. No film is worth someone dying over, and if this could all be done over again, as good as the movie is, would rather have Brandon Lee with us. But he unfortunately, what happened, and this film is like his legacy. So regarding the new Crow movie that's coming out.
Well, yeah. Well, hold up before you get to that. I did want to say one thing. I think it's pretty wild to say that at the time this was made, it was cheaper to build a city and shoot it than to actually do a flyover. Where flyovers now are incredibly cheap because of drones and stuff like that.
Sure.
Like it's wild to say we couldn't afford to shoot it actually in Detroit, so instead we built a fake Detroit and did a flyover with it in a completely different state. Like that's just crazy to me.
To do a flyover, they wanted it to be nighttime and all that, and to do a flyover, at night, and to guarantee a certain look and all that stuff, get the lighting right, and
well, sure, yeah. At the time, like doing a flyover. Well, it used to be if you saw a flyover, then obviously it had like a higher budget or whatever. It was a flyover from New York or Chicago or whatever.
Yeah.
But nowadays there's flyovers and everything because you can drone.
Even YouTube videos.
You can easily drone it. Well, I mean, it's like no cost. Like people rent their drones for like nothing, and you can do a flyover of anywhere. And it's like, but to me it was always like, oh, they got budget for that. But it's like no. people work for pennies to do their drone shots and all that.
Yeah.
So
and those flyover shots of the models are some of the most striking images in the film. Some of the most memorable things in the film. That they could do these motion controlled floaty shots through these I want to say, I don't know what scale they are, but these buildings, as I've seen the behind the scenes, are like about as tall as an average person. They're large.
Just like
scale
practical
models,
effects, but sadly at the detriment of Detroit being in the film. Actually,
yeah,
it's a shame that I mean, I'm sure Detroit could have used the I don't know, the business at the time of them actually shooting in there.
Sure.
There was another. I was like, obviously after I saw this, I obsessed over this movie too, and I obsessed over Brandon Lee and all that. Did you ever watch Rapid Fire, the movie that he did before this?
I've never seen. Sadly, I've never seen any other movie of his.
I really liked that movie when I was younger. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember at the movie rental place we would go to, they had it there, and I thought it was pretty good, like the pre-Crow movie. But I think that's the only one I've seen that he was in. But it was pretty good. I mean, I don't know if you can find it streaming. And for anybody who wants to see The Crow, like now, it's on Prime, I believe. And if you don't want to, it's good to go to the theater. There's only like one more day, and this will be out before they stop doing it. But it is available on Prime to watch the first one.
I want to say one last thing that gives me hope for the universe. So before this movie, they played trailers for new movies coming out, and they played the trailer for the new Crow movie.
Blasphemy. That's not cool. Thankfully, they didn't do that for the Toxic Avenger that I saw. They didn't show any of that other remake garbage.
That was basically the reaction of the crowd. So there's about 30 people in the crowd, and people booed and were making fun of it, and like, oh, there's hope for humanity. Okay. This movie's going to tank.
Have you met anybody who's actually excited about the Crow remake? Because I haven't. And I've met people younger than me. Like we were at Jess and I were at the Horror House, which is a really cool place in Chicago on Belmont Avenue. And I almost bought. They have these Crow shirts that are based on like the Spanish poster of it, so it's all in Spanish. It's really cool, actually. I almost bought the T-shirt of that, but I was talking to the kid who worked there, and he's much younger than me, but he was like just ranting like very loudly about how mad he was about the Crow remake, and he probably wasn't born until like 2000 maybe or something like that, and he's still. Yeah. I'm just saying, I haven't seen a single person that is like, or even online that's like, yeah, let's watch this. No, nobody's going to see that movie. Like it's going to tank. Like I've seen nobody excited about it. It's a cash grab. But I mean, for who? Like nobody wants to see it. Yeah.
Of course I'm curious about it because I'm a fan of The Crow and I've seen all the other bad Crow movies.
The second one was good.
Yeah, I've rewatched that one again.
The Edward Furlong TV show was pretty awful. Wasn't he in the TV show was really bad? It's like
there was a TV show, and then that was Mark Dacascos. Yeah,
there was the Crow one. Yeah, there's this TV show where he's like Batman all of a sudden, and he has like a secret identity. Which I was like, wait, did you read any of the Crow stuff? Like, it's not like. This isn't like this isn't like a Monster of the Week thing. He's not the fucking Punisher. Like what's, like it was. I remember seeing a couple episodes of that show and being like, "What? Wait, who the fuck greenlit this? Like really? Like this is fucking awful."
Yeah, I remember at the time I took what I could get. I did watch that show and was like, "Hey, it's a Crow TV show. Cool." I remember thinking like, "This is weird." But it's the Crow TV show, so I'm going to watch this.
But all of a sudden, he's Batman. Like this is not how he doesn't have like another life. He's dead. Like it's right. He doesn't like go to work and then become the Crow at night or whatever. Like
right.
Like what the fuck? Like it was so wrong. Did you ever read the comic in itself and its origin? Okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So like, I'm not against them making another The Crow, but I think the fact that they are doing the same character again, it's like, why would you do that? Like, don't do the character that Brandon Lee played and he tragically passed away in this role. Like, leave that alone. Do like the comics did and just do different Crows.
Yeah, exactly.
Different eras tell news stories. There's no need to call the character Eric Draven and Shelley and all that. Just do something different.
You could even have parallels, but you could have it be
Yeah.
new characters, like shout outs to the old story or whatever.
Right. So I'm not excited for the movie. I'm sure I'm going to see it in some way. I'm trying to figure out a way to see it without paying. How do you go see a movie while also telling them that you don't want this? You know.
Well, I mean, don't you
tell
you're part of the bad part of it.
whatever.
Like, don't go. Just wait till it's streaming on a thing you already own or that you already pay for.
Yeah,
it's what I do when I don't want to see a thing. Even though I still haven't seen Madam Web, even though I do have Netflix, but I don't think I can sit through that movie. Even though it's like number one, it's a really shitty Spider-Man spin-off movie that apparently people like to watch on Netflix. But yeah, The Crow. Now, The Crow is a great movie.
I enjoy it. I actually kind of want to go back and watch it again. I haven't seen it since I was in high school, but
I wanted to watch Crow 1 and 2 back to back with Jess, but they're saying like it's too sad. I was like, no, but it's a legacy. He made the legacy.
You know what? It's also life.
Maybe it's more of a Halloween type of movie.
No, you can watch it whenever.
One thing that
I know, but maybe for Jess, like, sure for them.
It's like, having just walked away from this movie 2 hours ago, the feeling that I'm left with, and the feeling that I'm left with, pretty much every time that I watch this movie, is just like in this terrible, grimy world with like these unrepentant sinners reveling in their evil ways. The thing that prevails is the love that this guy has for his girlfriend, and the love that he shares for this young child who he befriended, and the legacy that she carries on with her,
and Ernie Hudson too. His love for Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson as well. He passes on some sage wisdom to Ernie Hudson, who gives a really remarkable performance. Like,
I forgot
Ernie Hudson's great in it.
He's fantastic. He's like the heart and soul of this movie, along with the young girl character. Yeah,
he has this whole like way of, and this is what I perceived it as. Maybe you did too, but this way of like, like turning people on to their bad habits or whatever. You remember like when he like touches Ernie Hudson's cigarette and then gives it to him, and then Ernie Hudson like spits it out, and he's like, "I'm quitting," or like when he like makes the like heroin go out of the lady's arm or whatever, and then she's like done with drugs after that. Like he has this whole like, I touch you and make your like terrible habits like you don't like them anymore.
I am
Dare
in ghost form.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I remember that like being like, oh, he must like just make you all of a sudden hate heroin or whatever. This is not possible.
So yeah, it's a gritty movie and sad movie, but it's also, in the end, I think the summation of it's a life affirming movie.
Was it?
It's a guy who's passed away, doesn't have life anymore, helping people who are still there to put things into perspective.
It's like mother is the name of God on the lips and minds of all children. Yeah, there's some quotes in that movie. There's some things to
very quotable movie.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just run through whatever we have on the news here.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
So we spent a lot more time on The Crow, but no, The Crow was a big movie for me too. I still have like a couple posters that I had in high school of The Crow that I was hoping to try to find a place to put them up somewhere here in the apartment. I figured I'd maybe put one in the guest room or something. But I had this really good one of like Brandon Lee like sitting in a couch like that was at my mom's house, and I also have like, he's like sitting
on the throne.
Yeah, he's like sitting on a chair and he has his legs up, and it looks, and like the background looks really cool. And then I also have the one like with his arms out, and it just says like The Crow and like the credit block and all that under it. I have that one too.
Oh yeah, yep.
So yeah, that was a big movie for me too. That was really And I don't remember when I watched it last, but it wasn't like that soon, but it was. I remember watching it and being like, man, they really did some things in this. They really like took some risks, and I'm glad they did. It was before everybody wanted to make a comic book movie. So. But the main thing I need to mention because I said it at the beginning of the show, is that it was the Dragon Quest anniversary again. I think it was over last weekend or something, and we got a little bit more from Dragon Quest 3. Dragon Quest 3 3D
Not much
3D
more.
HD. Well, we did, and we didn't. Well, it was, I guess, what they showed us. All they really showed us was it kind of showed like platforms. It showed, Switch, PS5, Xbox, Steam, and all that. But also, what was it? Midori, the leakers, is making everybody think that we're getting the full trilogy in HD 2D, which is interesting. And that's why my nickname earlier was, do I have to play through Dragon Quest 1 and 2? Which actually, don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing. I love Dragon Quest 1. I think that game is fun as hell. It's not that long, and I do love going through it, and I would have a blast playing through Dragon Quest 1 again in 2D HD. 2 is...
Maybe 2 not so much.
2 is kind of not my favorite. It's kind of whatever. I mean, I played through it a couple times, but...
It's a lot of walking around the map.
But it's not... It's not great, but I love 1. I mean, I love the simplicity of it, and I like the story beats. I mean, there's small story in there, but I like the things that you do. I like the Rainbow Bridge and the dragon and like carrying the princess or whatever. There's all these really cool parts in Dragon Quest 1 that I'm fine with playing that game again. Like, I played through it on my original NES cart way back when I first was like, I'm going to get into Dragon Quest. So, I mean, I played it there, and then I played it on Game Boy, and then I played it on Switch. So I played it a few times.
I have played through 2, but only on the Switch. Like, and I don't remember anything about it other than there's a lot of wandering around the world map.
Yeah, I played through 2 on Game Boy, on the 1 and 2 Game Boy cart, but I don't think I ever finished the 2 on Switch. But I like the first one a lot, and I'd like to get to the point where I don't have to look anything up on 1, where I can kind of just power through it just with what I know of the different things. So, because there's some stuff that's like a little out there that you kind of need help for, but I like to get to the point where I kind of memorize it and I can just kind of plow through it. I remember a long time ago I listened to a Retronauts where Bob said he tried to do a no-death run on Dragon Quest 1. I was like, that's pretty rad. So I don't want to go that far, but I do love that first game. I love its simplicity. That I love it's just the single character party and all that, and it's got a lot of cool weird parts to it, and it's just a great game. So I would play through it again on HD 2D if that's what it has to be. Just put it out. And the other thing is some Dragon Quest 12 stuff, Flames of Fate. It says was it Yuji Horii just said that he was going to a meeting about it, because I guess everybody's kind of a little worried about the franchise because...
Well, he said he had just got out of the meeting, right?
Or he had just had a meeting about it. So, because we lost Toriyama and Sugiyama also. So I mean, it's like, 2 of the main, even though one of them's kind of sucks, but like some main people of the Dragon Quest creators and all that. We kind of, I'm mostly Toriyama, like where it would go from there. But I'm sure they have plenty of people working to like recreate his art and that sort of thing. So I'm sure.
I don't doubt the assets are in the can already.
Yeah, and who knows how much he already did for it, or like how much of the monster designs and all that were there,
and there may
before
be
they even got to like
we don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he did at least. I'm sure he at least got to do like the original art for everything, and then they kind of did try to make the graphics match it and all that. But
and Toriyama wasn't actually like physically designing it. It was like he was overseeing other people designing it. So
they've probably been doing that for a while.
That was the level he was at. So like there may be some gaps they have to fill, but the design language is probably already there with the characters and all that.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the other thing I wanted to say, and then you guys can say whatever you want about the news, is the Vitcher Pro glasses. There's like a new version. I think it's actually called the XR thing. I don't know. I've been obsessed with these things since they first got
You have
released.
to get there's like a unit you have to buy that.
No, I know.
To the glass.
I've looked it up. So you can buy. So basically, it's such a weird thing, and I don't know why I still like it, because it's basically like it's like it's like VR but not. Yeah, it's just kind of like a TV for your face. What is it, like 135 inches is what it's like trying to portray or whatever, and it's supposed to be like 3 meters away from you or whatever. But it's there are these glasses that you get that will basically put a TV in front of you, and I guess they originally inspired by the Switch. I heard about these a couple of years ago, and the only reason, well, obviously they've always been very expensive, but I always thought about getting it, but I was like, well, I don't want to get it unless it did other things, unless I couldn't play like other systems from it. But this one you can. It actually has an HDMI in, so you could play any system that has HDMI through it, including your phone if you had a adapter, or your computer or whatever. You can plug an HDMI directly into the basically what substitute as the Switch dock or the battery pack. So you get like this battery pack that connects to the glasses, which will power the glasses or whatever, and that's like hardwired. And it basically has two different inputs. You can plug the USB-C from the Switch to that, and that'll become a dock, and then it feeds your glasses. Or you can plug anything else that has an HDMI into this dock, and anything with an HDMI can be on your face. So it's basically, to me, it kind of seems like what I actually wanted from the Vision Pro Plus or whatever the fuck it was called. Yeah. You know, like I don't have like fucking office meetings. Like I don't need an AI version of myself to answer to whatever corporate company wants me to do whatever. But I just wanted to be able to, you know, it kind of reminds me of the old the scuba lens or whatever it was called, where it was supposed to just put the video game in front of your face and you have a giant TV in your, you know, it's like a whole like isolation thing, I guess. But this one also has a button you can hit that'll completely like black out the glasses also, so you can't see anything else around you. And there's even another thing you can put on top of it to make it even darker. And there's like speakers by your ears or whatever, so you can only hear that. It just, I don't know. It's like $600 for like all of the things. You can even get a free 8-bit DOE Vitcher inspired controller with it if you go for the full
it's like a limited edition,
$600. Right? Yeah, it's the one that you have, like the one that's more modeled after the 360 controller, the one that Jeremy and John both have. It's that one, but it's like red and black to look like the glasses and that sort of thing.
So it has the fall effect.
Yeah. So which is kind of wild. I don't know. It seems like just a stupid amount of money to pay to buy just to have a giant TV for your face. But I also I just want to try one. I just want to put one of these things on my face and just see what it looks like because I'm so intrigued by it.
It's right there in the middle range between AR and VR. I think it's closer to AR, but
sure, yeah, kind of.
It's totally in that realm.
But I like that you can put anything in it. Like that you could plug so if you wanted to, if you had a long enough HDMI cable, you could play your PS5 through it. You could play your PS4 through it. You could play your PS3 through it. If you got a GameCube HDMI adapter, you can play your GameCube through it. You can put your computer through it. You can put your phone through it, your iPad, whatever, if you have the adapters to make it do that. So you can put anything in front of your face. And that's, I don't know. I find it very interesting.
Even pornography.
If you wanted to,
on
sure.
the big screen.
You could, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I can't really convince myself to get it because it's like $600, but I'm still like super intrigued by it. I just want to.
It kind of just seems like you would be like nodding out, like, well, maybe not nodding out, but like it'd be sort of like you were an addict, like in your own world, just sitting in a chair, like leaning back.
I mean, it's like
controller. You know what I mean?
It's much more expensive than the Labo. I mean, I used to wear the Labo on my face to play Breath of the Wild, because you could play it on there. I just like the idea of.
I do too.
Of having a giant TV on your face. Like I said, it's much cheaper than the Vision Pro thing, but it's kind of what we wanted, like something that's more based around video games. And
it's really not that much more
and
than
not just corporate meetings.
TV.
Yeah.
So there was
if you don't have room for a giant TV, maybe buy this instead.
You could sell your giant TV and buy this with it. No, don't do that.
There was a product 30 years back. In fifth grade, we had to do a report on an invention, and I chose to report on TV, which involved actually writing to different TV manufacturers. And one of them sent me back advertisement for a product called the Virtual Vision Sport, which I just sent you guys a link to in the Slack. But these were basically these glasses, but in 1993, where you put the glasses on and you see a TV in front of you. So I've had this concept in my head since I was 11, 1993. Just reminds me of these.
There was I can't remember what it was called, but there was like a whole, like a line of like Tiger games where they had, you had like a little screen
with the red
in front
one.
of your eye. Yeah.
Zone. It was Zone something.
Do you remember? I mentioned it earlier. Well, when I was just talking about the Vitcher thing. Do you guys remember the Scuba? It was basically like, I really wanted one, but it came out like probably late 90s, maybe or two. I don't know if it ever released. I saw it as a like ad in an EGM or a Game Pro or something like that, and it was just basically looked like a VR helmet, and you just put it on your face, and apparently you would just hook your system into it, and that's how you would play it. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever that I had seen. I was like, oh man, you could just put it on your face, and it'd be so immersive and all that. And that's all that I ever wanted from VR. I don't really care that I don't want to move my body and play it or whatever. I just want the screen to just be in my face and really big or whatever, like that sort of thing. You can watch wrestling through that. You can watch whatever you want through there. You can feel like you're in the crowd.
I personally don't find the concept all that appealing, other than like in a post-apocalyptic space where I'm living in like a shed or something, and I don't have room for a TV. Then,
well, I mean, you talked about how much you wanted to play Balatro on the TV, but Shauna, it's very boring to watch on the TV. You could put it on your giant TV glasses and still hang out and play Balatro on a giant thing, and you could look at those jokers doing whatever they're doing through there, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm just after I watched like Game Explain's review of it, and I had watched their one before with was it Jake? I forget. He has his own thing now, but I remember he did one before, and I was, like I said, I was curious about it, but I wanted to be able to play everything, and this one does everything. So yeah,
honestly, it is like it's cheap enough for the average consumer, whereas these things were not up until recently. So I do find that compelling, but it does not meet any sort of, or rather, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't meet a need that I can't currently fulfill.
Exactly. It's like another TV. I already have like 6 TVs, but I like the idea of it, and I'd like to try it. And there is like I know you mentioned before, John, that the other ones like had like a lower line of sight thing. This one has a whole bunch of different nose pieces that you can put in the glasses that will change where the way that it presents it in front of you, so it's in the right eyesight and all that.
That's cool.
Like they completely fixed whatever the last one was supposed to be.
Every review that I saw of the old ones complained about that the TV seemed like it was, no matter what they would do with the glasses, lift them up and down on your face, it seemed like the TV was too low. Like the top of the TV was at your eye line.
Yeah. I mean, it's like any glasses. Like these ones that I had to like kind of have them bent in because it was too like up, whatever. But yeah, there's, in the review that I watched, there's like 5 or 6 different nose pieces that you can put on there to adjust it exactly to your eyesight. And also with the dock, like if you got a ton of money, you could get 2 of them and you could play like split screen with your buddy on a train or whatever, which seems like a stupid, like for somebody who has like a shit ton of money where it can spend $1,000 on glasses. But it's just, I don't know.
Why are you riding a train? Right.
Yeah, right. Or on a plane or whatever, like it's, yeah, I saw like one of the comments on it was like, I bought 5 of them. It's like, no, you didn't. You don't have that much money. Come on. That's like $3,000. Or maybe you do. I'd like, why are you telling everybody that? Anyway, I don't know. I think it's cool. I don't think I could ever convince myself to buy one, but I really like the idea of it. Because it just,
if you ever did, I would love to try it.
Well, obviously, I would be showing it to everybody if I had it. I'm definitely going to share that shit. But I like it made it more intriguing to me now that you could put any system through it, Because I'm like, I want to play whatever. I want to play fucking F-Zero GX on GameCube on those things. And probably vomit because of how fast it moves. But whatever.
There's a couple of rumors worth mentioning. One is IGN is saying that there are remakes of Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica in the works. I'm pretty excited about that. Code Veronica in particular. I think that's my second favorite to Resident Evil 4.
Well, that makes sense because the last one that they did was 4, which they didn't have to do that much because 4 was already good. But they did still do a lot of things. I'm not.
It's amazing.
I'm not saying that they didn't do anything, but
as someone who's actually finished it, it's amazing.
No, you played through it. I'm sure it's great. But 4 was, well, they had to fix the controls. I'm just saying that 5 and 6 need a lot to make it worth playing. True. They're both really bad games. So it's like, It's you got to do a lot to those things to make them better. But it makes more sense to go to like 0 and Code Veronica because those games have like more love than 5 and 6 do. I think even though 6 broke 1 million on Switch, like what are you people doing? I know it's on sale all the time. I mean, you own it too, John.
$6,
but that game is fucking. I never played it, but I watched. I don't know. I watched enough videos of it to be.
I played a demo. That's all I've played.
I hated 5. So when 6 came around, I was like, and I got 5 for free on PlayStation Plus on PS3. And
I really liked the demo to
fuck
5.
This game.
I got excited.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, you played it all the way through, right? A 5.
No, I did. I played it pretty far into 5, but I didn't ever finish it. The AI companion was really annoying.
Yeah, because or maybe I just told you that when you beat the game, your gift is that you can play through it without a companion, which I think is kind of hilarious. That's what you get is like your you beat the game thing is you get to play it through it by yourself. Like that's
just like
funny.
a normal Resident Evil game.
Yeah, make it a good game instead. Well, I mean, aside from the companion stuff, my main problem was I felt like they were trying to be like Uncharted, but it still had the shitty controls of the old Resident Evil games. Like they want it to be an action game, but you still can't run and shoot at the same time. So that was a big problem that I had.
There's just there's a lot of like highly racial.
There's also some real stuff that didn't age very well at all with all the black zombies in Africa and all that, and it's kind of it's rough. It's a rough one.
Basically, where can we make a plague originate that's most offensive? Let's do, Africa.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
It's better for them to go to those other games, even though Zero was a pretty weird ass game. Like, I mean, the villain looked like a fucking Final Fantasy character. Like, I remember they got real weird with that one. That was always kind of a joke that we had. Jeremy and I, we played it together. I was like, yeah, this dude looks like he came off. He's from like Final Fantasy VII or something. What's up with that?
Midori is saying that Monolith Soft is working on a project for Switch 2, and the code name for the project is Legacy.
I was going to say, all of that was well done, except for the name. Because, Monolith, of course, is making things for Switch 2, because Monolith is badass. They're doing what they're doing. But
integral to, like, world design, I think, anymore. With anything on the Switch.
Well, I was actually, when I was mowing the lawn earlier, because Wednesday's my lawn mowing day, I was listening to Axe of the Blood God, and they were talking about Xenoblade Chronicles. Well, they were talking about stuff they wanted on Switch 2, and they were talking about Monolith and all that. And I remembered that, they did say that the Xenoblade Chronicles story was ended with 3. Like, that was the end of that. So it's probably going to be a Xeno different thing, because there was Xenogears and Xenosaga and Xenoblade. So maybe it's Xeno Legacy. Maybe that's the next thing. Maybe that's where that word comes into it. But they did specifically say that after the DLC for 3, they were done with that stuff. They're moving on to a different thing. But we'll still have something with Xeno in it, I'm sure. So that's kind of what I take away from it. But also, they're awesome, and I love those games. So yeah, I mean, I would be very surprised if we didn't see a Xeno something for Switch 2 right out of the gate. We had Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the first year of Switch 1. So, I mean,
I would say if nothing else, it's going to be like an upgraded version of that or something. Because like I just feel like Monolith Soft is very necessary to the Switch's life anymore.
Well, yeah.
I mean Tears of the Kingdom. We were talking about it for so much of the episode.
Like, I was going to say, don't forget about their involvement in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and Splatoon and Animal Crossing and all these other things. Like, they do a lot more than just Xenoblade. So they're very integral to Nintendo stuff. So I mean,
Legacy is kind of, it sounds like Legend. Could they just be talking about Legend of Zelda for Switch 2?
No,
shit.
That'd be a wink and a nod, baby.
I want to believe that it's a Xenoblade thing.
It's the original Legend of Zelda in the style of Tears of the Kingdom.
I would rather look at it as a Xenoblade thing because I love those games. And Xenoblade Legacy, it'd be cool if it was like a Xeno Legacy, and maybe they could bring in the stuff from Gears and Saga. Like a lot of people would blow their minds over that, myself included. So I mean, why not?
So right now you can go on Charles Martinet's IMDb page, and you will see that listed under upcoming projects is Super Mario Maker 3 and Untitled Open World 3D Mario game. What do we make of this?
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I saw that you put that in there, and it's like, I thought this was on his IMDb page. You saw
it is on his IMDb page right now.
Yeah, because isn't he out of the? I thought he was out. I thought he was out of the Mario stuff.
Well, he's an ambassador, right?
Yeah,
he's an ambassador, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a project or two in the can, does it? I think I vaguely recall some announcement saying that such and such game will be his last project. But yeah,
I have no doubt that Mario Maker 2 might have originally been a Switch launch title, maybe.
That Mario Maker 2 might have been a Switch?
Well,
it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like earlier in the cycle, so maybe the third one was already being worked on by the time we saw that.
I see what you mean. Yeah, so I would hope that Super Mario Maker 3, first of all, is a thing, and that they continue to do Mario Makers, and that second, it would be a launch title for Switch 2. I think it'd be a fantastic launch title for Switch 2.
Especially if they bring back dual screen.
I was just looking.
Cool.
I was just looking at the IMDb right now, and it says it has 2024 down for Super Mario Maker 3. So would that be an ender, a Switch 1 ender, like that we see at the next in the Direct when it happens in like a week or two from now, the June one?
I mean, the other thing is that the person who's updating his IMDb page could be misinformed.
Or just
not Nintendo updating the IMDb page. It's probably his manager or something. I don't know.
Maybe Martinet had some contract where they were like, he was guaranteed like voice acting roles in that specific franchise or something.
An interesting thing about this, if you look at the link for Super Mario Maker 3, it also has the new voice of Mario in there as well. So,
interesting.
What does that mean? Is it maybe? It could be maybe they're using Martinet's voice like they did. I think the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake used the same voice.
I'm sure they're reusing a bunch of his,
where they used the assets from before, and so maybe that could be it. Because a lot of times when you look at when there's announcements for movies or something like that, if you look at the actual link for it, it'll show you like whatever's like quote unquote confirmed or whatever, like that sort of thing. And all it has the guy, the new Mario, and the lady who plays Peach is who we have in there, who's like confirmed or whatever, confirmed by whoever put this on here. So I don't know, it has both of the Marios. Super Mario Maker 3 Generations, old Mario versus new Mario, like Sonic Generations, but Mario. But yeah, that's interesting, and it also shows 2025 for the 3D Mario game, and I mean, that's, if you're betting on it, there's a good chance we're going to see a 3D Mario game for Switch 2. So, I mean, pretty sure it's going to happen. An Odyssey 2, maybe.
That would be 8 years after
Galaxy 3, whatever, we will see another 3D Mario adventure for sure. Maybe even within within the first year of the system. Yeah, I imagine that.
It's been 8 years, as Jeremy said, since Odyssey.
Yeah.
So it's time.
It will have been.
For sure.
It will have been, yep.
Future
related,
past progressive or whatever.
Charles Martinet is continuing his ambassadorship role, and he will be appearing at Nintendo Live this year in Sydney, Australia.
Hell yeah.
Good for him.
Clock Tower Rewind, guaranteed for a physical, guaranteed is not the word, announced for a physical release from Limited Run. I'm excited for this game. The game...
would you get a physical? I know you like Clock Tower, or it's, I don't think you would go for the full physical.
No, I'd go for the digital. But I'm just excited that it's getting some love, and it looks like a pretty cool set. Ship date is estimated between 10/11 and 11/11/24, so sometime October, November.
I think that's the big holiday release.
Could be. I mean, it's big for me. Yeah, I'm excited for it, and so that means the game's coming out around then. So yeah, there's no official. I went to WayForward's release website for this game. WayForward's website for the game. There's no official release date. They just say 2024, but obviously, if the physical's coming out October, November, that's going to be the time. So cool.
For sure. Yeah, I want to, just from all the stuff that you've said about it and how much I like horror games and all that, I really want to check it out. So
WayForward, yeah.
I'm definitely on board for that one.
Oh, maybe we'll end on this one, I think. Oh, I got two of them. Let's talk about the Lego Great Deku Tree set. That's pretty cool. $300. It's expensive.
I would say it's a little too expensive for. I mean, most Lego sets are expensive, but $300 for it doesn't look. I don't know. It has like 2,500 pieces. It looks like it should be bigger for that. So how does it?
Two of them though.
So it's, but I mean, but you can build it two different ways, right? It's not like two different trees.
They're like two halves of the tree, and I think they're separate, but I'm confused as to whether or not you can put the two halves back to back to make one complete.
Yeah, I'm confused on that too. I don't know. I'm not gonna spend $300 on a Lego thing.
No, I won't spend $300 on it, but that's cool. I mean, I might consider it at like $150.
I like the
not $300.
I like the Ocarina Deku Tree better than the other one. Has like branches coming out of his eyeballs. It's weird.
Yeah.
Did it always look like that on Tears of the Kingdom or whatever? I don't remember the Deku Tree having branches coming out of their eyeballs.
I don't remember.
Don't remember.
What's the other one you got?
Did you want to talk about the Mario 64 builder?
Yeah, I want to talk about that one last. That's cool. So a fan
Super cool.
has made Mario Builder 64. It's out now. You can download it now.
Can we play it? Can we play it on our Deltas on our phones? Probably can.
I don't know about maybe. I mean, it's playable on an actual
ROM
64.
Hacks, yeah.
So you would put it on the ROM hack, right? You would put it on a cartridge and play it through your system.
Put it on a card and you play it on a 64.
So we could play it through an emulator.
Yeah, because that's how you're playing it on a cartridge.
Yeah, exactly.
The developers are Rovertronic and Arthur Tilley. And if you want a good sort of dive into this project, you can watch a video by Carl Sagan42, who is one of the Mario Maker creators that I've watched a lot of. I've watched hours of his stuff. It's really entertaining. But yeah, it's clear from his playthrough of this that this is a really in-depth project. Like, they have a lot of stuff in there, more stuff than you would expect from a fan project. It just seems like they've put like basically every Mario song in there has a 64 sound font rendition. Some stuff that you wouldn't expect, like there's F-Zero stuff in there and all that random stuff that you might hope for in a fan game. And the way you interact is exactly like a Mario Maker. The Mario Maker tools brought to 3D. You just drag and drop stuff. Simple as that. Simple as the other games.
I would just want to play the levels. You know, because Super Mario 64 is like one of my favorite games of all time. So I'd be into more of that. So sure, I might give it a try for that.
It's impressive.
So there you go. Cool. All right. Well, I thought this was going to be a short episode, but we just got too passionate about The Crow, which that's fine. It's a very important movie to me as well.
Y'all was crowing about it for a long time.
We were crowing a lot, yes. we definitely. They say you can't crow all the time, but we did, at least for that time. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. For anybody who stuck around for the entirety of this episode, thanks. And also, if you like hearing our voices, you can go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast, and you can listen to all our bonus episodes. That Game Boy episode will be out soon enough. A couple more days. It'll be done by Sunday, I think. I got halfway through the other night, so we're getting there. So yeah, you can check that out. Also for $1 you can get that and all the other ones. That's episode 61, so there's a bunch of other ones behind that as well. Also $5 you can see videos of us talking after we record early with all the interruptions and the 20 minutes in between and all that fun stuff. You can watch that. Also $5 you can listen to the WART radio, and since this one has been delayed, I'm going to put them together and do a 2-hour mix once we finish whatever the next expansion pack is. So that'll be what that is. And that'll be, I don't know, second week of June maybe, depending on whenever we do our next expansion pack. But anyway, you can watch all this stuff if you're on the $5 level, because you can see it right after we record it in video form and all this stuff. And you can also find our videos on youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast, and the Castlevania episode, or the Castlevania thing we were talking about, is NintenDomain plays Aria of Sorrow squared for its 15th anniversary, and it happened 6 years ago, and it only has 17 views. So get on that, get those views up.
Hell yeah!
Because we have no views for Jeremy's favorite video of both of us playing a game. So get that happening there.
It took a lot of time to make that work. In post.
Yeah, it's always the things you spend the most time on that gets the least amount of views. That's what it seems like to me. But and the things you just throw up that you don't do anything to get a lot of views. But it's all about timing, really.
It is
for our things that we do. But also, you can find me at twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast for Wrestle Chat, where every Monday we play AW5 Forever and talk about wrestling stuff. Also, you can find Jeremy and I for a limited time on Twitter at Ninten_Domain and at JMaxStack. And also on Blue Sky at NintenDomain. We're on there for that. I'm hoping that Blue Sky just becomes the new Twitter, where I can post credits there or something. Or I'll just record it from my phone and put it on Blue Sky. And also, you can find us on. We have a Facebook community page. Just Google NintenDomain and you'll find our shit out there, and all that stuff. But yeah, thanks for listening to episode 424. We are your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson,
Jerry Mikowski,
John Litter,
and thanks for listening. See you next time.
See us.
See us forever.
Really challenging one to hit.
Sorry.
That was creepy.
I found another. I was just
like Majora's Mask was pissed you were talking about it.
I found another NintenDomain YouTube, and I was like, "What?" And they have more subscribers than us too. Jerks.
Bizarro NintenDomain.
There's another YouTube channel. Don't subscribe to them. They have more subscribers.
It might be really nice.
Yeah, but that's our name. I can't have that. But yeah, Paper Mario.